is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. How in the world are you out there? You doing all good? I know I'm good. I know Sean Stanley's good, the man that masters this program every single day. Hope you all are well out there. It's a beautiful Monday, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's beautiful. We got the Eiffel Towers on. We are set to go. We're ready to rock. The playoff games have been decided over the weekend. We now have our AFC and NFC championships. It's good to know that the Cowgirls are still the chokers that they've been in the past. My God, choking kicker, although he figured it out and had a couple kicks, and whoo, Dak Prescott. Yeah. That's yeah. The overrated Bills. We got a lot of things to talk about today on the show, brother. Yes, brothers and sisters. We got a lot of things to talk about. Bitcoin holding strong, just under 23,000. I love it. We'll talk about that. The Dolphins searching for a defensive coordinator. The Miami Heat are on a winning streak. Question is, what's more fraudulent? This recent crypto pump or the Heat winning streak? We'll ask Ira Winderman about that at 10:30. By the way, Andy Behrens is going to stop by with our Sports Grill NFL and Draft zone. It's really not about fantasy. We talk Dolphins and NFL and draft and all that because we're now it's like a hardcore NFL segment now with Andy and Scott every week. Marcel Louis Jacques will stop by at 12:30, so we'll have some fun with him. Alan Poupart normally, but he's in Canada. He's been vacationing for a couple of days. He's back tomorrow, so we'll get Alan on and we'll catch up with him and we'll get all the Canadian stories, eh? So we've got all of that going on. The Panthers also winning a little bit. Congratulations. The Marlins actually made a trade for a decent bat, man. That's actually good. Since you can't pay for them, trade for them, and then you're going to have to pay for them eventually, but we'll see if you keep them. But, man, that was a good move there. Not enough yet, but, hey, props at least. So there's a lot of things to talk about today on the show. I hope you all had a terrific weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. I mean, really, I had a blessed weekend because I just hung out at home with the wife and the dogs, and it was nice and calm. You know, we just hung out in the backyard, played a little golf because I worked on the short game with the wife. So had a good time with our Cutter's Edge Pro beautiful backyard. Which, man, it's just like one of those things when you've got a backyard now that you can actually like hang out in. You know, in today's crazy ass world, you got to be at home as much as possible, man. And, you know, it's kind of like you want to make your house more of a place to enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? and pretty cool. I had a good Saturday night with the wife, playing a little golfing, enjoy a little Edge and vodka. It's good stuff. So had a nice relaxing weekend. So we got a lot of things to talk about today on the show. We'll talk about the matchups we have now for the AFC and NFC championship game, which is really, really cool. We are a week exactly away from taking off to the Senior Bowl. Okay. So next Tuesday, 1 week from tomorrow, we will be broadcasting from Mobile. We'll be broadcasting Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be there for all the main practices, padded practices, when the NFL people, so in years past, I used to get there on Sundays and catch guys coming in early and then hang out with some of the NFL people that got there early, watch some of the championship games, all that kind of stuff. But it's just not the same anymore. And so guys don't hang out nearly as much. They don't drink out in the open anymore or smoke cigars or anything like that, since camera phones and all that stuff has just become so much prevalent. It's harder. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. So guys don't even hang out nearly as much as they used to. But still, great time to get information. Great time to meet some of the folks around the NFL. Some guys that I haven't talked to personally in a couple of years, actually, because of the stinking pandemic. And so now I'm able to get back there and talk to them. So we'll be there, and then we'll go to the combine after that too. So we'll get all of that done, and we'll have some fun out at the combine also for a couple of days. And we'll freeze our asses off while we're running around the streets trying to gather information for you all out there. So we got all of that going on. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a lot of, obviously, off-season draft coverage like we always have done on our show while we keep track of everything. I get to go now to a lot of Heat games now. So that's pretty cool. We'll get to maybe I'll go do some Panther games too, depending on, if they can turn the corner here and make it. I haven't even brought on Dwork or George at all because it's just been so bad. But hey, man, now they're starting to win some games, even with Mr. Lion between the pipes. So hopefully they can get us a little bit more jacked up for hockey season and get that going. But I'll be able to go to Heat games. So we'll talk to Ira Winderman at the bottom of the hour, and we'll get his thoughts on a lot of things. Miami Heat, as they're off tonight, by the way. The Heat are back in action tomorrow night as they take on Boston. So that should be a very cool contest. I like it. I like it. I like it. What else do we have? Steve Chapman in the house? Yes, sir. He says, from what I saw yesterday, there's no reason why the Dolphins couldn't beat both Buffalo and Cincinnati. Keep the faith. The future is bright. Listen, the Dolphins could have swept the Bills this year. That's all. Pretty simple. Buffalo is not, they're a hell of a team, but they're not invincible and they're not unreachable or any of that bullshit. That's what I saw from all of it. And I've been watching this before even yesterday's game. I told you guys that a healthy Dolphin team could have swept the Bills this year. They should have won 5 weeks ago. Mike McDaniel did a lot of stupid-ass shit in that game. Tyreek Hill and Trent Sherfield dropped a damn touchdown. Braylon Sanders had a stinking brain fart. They had that game, dude. That would have been 2-0 in the regular season. And they almost beat them if it wasn't again for Mike McDaniel making more bad decisions on game day. They could have beat them with their third-string quarterback, dude. And they were injury-riddled completely on that team. No secondary. Kohu saved their asses, along, of course, with the safety. My God, if Kohu does not develop, wow. Longer season, actually, in all of this. I can't wait to get all these guys back next year. Get everybody healthy. Give me some luck. That's all I want from the goddamn Dolphins. Give me some luck. Give me some breaks. If that happens, the Dolphins can compete with anybody. This team that's here right now, healthy, and now the front office has a couple of picks. They can maneuver. They can make a move or two. So they can still improve the team that you currently have, even with the idiot owners giving away a first and a third. This stuff with, there's fearing the Bills and all this shit. Please already, enough. There's no fearing the Bills anymore. Okay? McDaniel's got to grow as a game day coach. He's got to start making better decisions, more mature decisions, not immature decisions like, oh, Mike Gesicki doesn't fit my offense, so I can't play him. No, dude. You signed him. You signed him you made your front office sign him, right? Because if you really weren't going to play him, you should have just said, hey, Chris, don't bother. I'm not going to play the guy. So some kind of an agreement was there where, yeah, we'll figure out something. You didn't figure out shit. You didn't figure out how to use a real weapon. And that's a bad look by Mike McDaniel. That's a terrible look by Mike McDaniel, because you're Eric Spoelstra. Sometimes you've got to work with Whiteside and the Johnsons and Dion Waiters, and you got to work through it. And then sometimes you'll have the big three, and your life will be slightly easier. And then there are times where you're going to have a whole bunch of young guys now that you got to kind of develop. You don't get the same team every year. You don't get the same luxuries every year. Sometimes you're stuck with Brock Purdy, and you got to make the best of it. And guess what? You do. And that's what really good coaches do. They adjust to the talent that they have. And, and I did all of this now, and I kept it in today's world. So I didn't go back to the old man phase. Well, Don Shula did it with Bob Greasy in a strong running game, and then he went with Woodstock to the Super Bowl. Half a quarterback on one side and half a quarterback on the other. How do you like them apples? And then he got Marino, and he passed his way to all kinds of records. I didn't do that to you, but I just did. But see, what I'm saying is, the bottom line is, a great coach adjusts to what he has. And sometimes you're Tony Sparano, not, God rest in peace. Great man, looks like a really good guy overall. Did I think he was much of a head coach? No, not at all. But to his credit, he didn't have anything going on, and he adjusted to the Wildcat, and it helped him. That's good coaching. That's actually good coaching. While I don't think that Tony Sparano was ever going to become a great head coach or a guy that you really want as your head coach, but damn it, dude, that's what a coach does. I'm in a pickle. I don't know what to do. How do I get out of this? You know what? That's an interesting idea you bring. Let's try it. There you go. New England Patriots baffled. You win, what was it, like 38-3 or something? I don't know, whatever the hell it was. But you kicked their ass that day. You left Belichick, flummoxed. Is that the word? Either way, you got to adjust. And I was pretty disappointed with Mike McDaniel, and I kept talking about it for several weeks. His game day decisions, can't even figure out a challenge. Took you 18 weeks to do it. And I don't want to hear a joke on the podium about it, bro. I don't want to hear a joke about your freaking incompetence. You want to joke about it after you won a Super Bowl? Hey, we won a Super Bowl, but man, did we have thank God it didn't come down to a challenge winning the Super Bowl. Now we can laugh. But when you're, barely getting into the playoffs and you lost several games because the guy on the sidelines lost games for you, don't joke about it, bro. Don't joke about it, because your people didn't catch that tight end dropping the ball for the Jets. Don't joke about it. Okay? There's time to joke, and then there's a time not to joke. And unless you won a Super Bowl or you had one incredible season, so this team is not far from the Bills at all. They got to stay healthy. somewhat healthy. You're going to have some injuries, especially Tua's got to learn how to, and I believe Tua can stay healthy. It's up to him now if he wants to do it. If he wants to start playing smart, and then we need the coach who is smart to coach smart. Okay? And that's something he has not done at times. And that's unacceptable for the head coach. The head coach has to be sharp 99.9% of the time. Has to. That's his job. And that guy failed a whole bunch of times this year. And he better do, he gets the break, he gets the pass because he's a rookie coach. But he's not escaping without critique. He's not escaping, injury-free. No. We're going to beat him up a little bit here. He needs to grow. And this is a conversation I cannot have next year. If I'm having this conversation about Mike McDaniel, the next part of that conversation is fire his ass. Let's get that straight now. Okay? I don't care what you do on offense. Don't matter to me, dude. You need to show me that you can win games, and you can't go 8-3 and then shit the bed the rest of the way. So Miami they got to get out of the way of themselves, and they can beat the Bills. I already told you this several weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Okay. When was the last time you saw the Dolphins play the Bills like this 3 straight times? They're beatable, and Miami has the kryptonite to beat them. But they got to coach smart. They got to stay healthy. And Tua has to learn how to stay healthy. And he can. He's got to stop playing, hero ball. When he does that, they'll be fine. They'll be absolutely fine. So that's the one thing that I learned from this. The Dolphins are definitely not far from the Buffalo Bills. Not at all. They're right there. And that's where I don't want a lot of people to get, allow the negativity to cloud everything going on. You stay strong here. You stay with the plan you've got going forward. If the thing at 8-3, nobody was complaining about anything. Nobody was complaining about Tua. Nobody was complaining about McDaniel. Nobody was complaining about Chris Grier. Nobody was complaining about anything. At that time, everything was fine. And then everything else happened. And so it's up to them now. It's up to Tua to take care of himself. It's up to McDaniel to assess what he has done and what he needs to change. And he has to learn to also adjust, because in the next coming season, you might put together a roster you like and fits what you want to do. But guess what? Certain people may get injured, and it may change what you have to do. And then you're going to have to adjust to it. And you did a shitty job of adjusting this year to certain things that you had, like the tight end spot in Mike Gesicki, like some of the usage that you had at wide receiver that you put Braylon Sanders in positions that he wasn't ready for. These are things that you've got to get better as a head coach. So Dolphins aren't that far. They're right there on the Bills. That's the one thing that I've come away from this. This division can be won by the Miami Dolphins next season. Do they need a couple breaks? Every team does. That's just kind of the way it is. You know what I mean? You gotta have some of those breaks. Hopefully that's what ends up happening. So we got Jamie Zorrilla in the house. Yes, Philadelphia does look strong and balanced. That's going to be a war between San Francisco and Philadelphia, dude. Scott Primus in. Brian Walters is in. I took the Bengals straight up and won a bunch. Those are, let me tell you, and let's talk a little bit about this. I didn't do too good. I went 2-3 over the weekend on the picks. But the pick that I did nail was the Bengals. And do you know why I picked the Bengals? Let me tell you why I picked the Bengals. Because I was wrong. See, when you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, you got to say it. Okay? And this is something that most of you will forget probably. But I don't forget what I say. You know what I mean? I'm not Omar Kelly. So here we go. Sorry, Omar. We love you. Anyway, I told you guys that when the Bengals made it, it kind of reminded me of Boomer Esiason, reminded me of Ken Anderson, really good Cincinnati Bengals teams, okay? And I was thinking that maybe even the Boomer Esiason team was better than this team. And let me tell you something. I was wrong. That defense is better than I expected. They are playing at an incredibly high level. That's why I picked them to win in the money line. That's why I took the points. Those are the only two bets that I actually won. I lost KC minus 8.5. I lost under was it over 48 or did I pick under? Wait a minute. I picked under. Yeah, it was under, right? Yeah, over 48. And it was under. And I lost Cowboys +4. They lost by 5. So I stunk it out in my other 3 bets, but the other 2, taking the Bengals plus the points and taking the Bengals on the money line. And why did I pick the Bengals? Because I was wrong. Because I said this team is better than I thought they would be. And they have played up to this point like that. They got balls, dude. They got moxie. They were going to win that night. That Hamlin got injured. They look like, and they own Kansas City. Kansas City's their bitch. And now Mahomes is hobbled. Cincinnati's going to eat them alive, dude. This is a fearless team, man. What's going on? I know they got an offense. I know Joe Mixon can pound it. I know Joe Burrow's got balls that don't fit in most stadiums. I know that they've got a hell of a trio of wide receivers, the best wide receiver group in the NFL last year and this year. Hayden Hurst, hell of a pickup for them. By the way, Hayden Hurst, free agent, blocks and catches. Doesn't drop a lot of passes either. Just saying, kind of fits what the Dolphins do. Oh, by the way, Hayden Hurst had injury history early on in his career, has overcome it now. Just saying. Things happen. RedRecover.com helps you optimize. It's got to be the Red Recover, right? That's kind of what it is. So you look at it, and that's why I picked them. I forgot to talk about it last week. That I was going to tell you that I picked them when I picked them on Friday. It's because I'm wrong. It's because I believe in the Bengals. What I didn't believe last year, and I thought they were a flash in the pan, I was wrong, dude. Because you watch what's gone on the last couple of weeks, and they had Buffalo, dude. They had Buffalo a couple of weeks ago, and sure enough, yesterday, they just proved the same shit. Damar Hamlin and all. He came to the locker room. He was out in the skybox doing his sign. Everything was, it was preordained, right? The stage could not have been set more for a hell of a performance by the Bills, right? Where, what's that that speech from Mel Gibson, right? In that movie. It's not Rob Roy, it's what's that one of the damn it. What's the name? Well, you know which one I'm talking about. That he's William Wallace. And I'm brain farting, but you know who I'm talking about. It's kind of like that. That's it. Like Damar Hamlin was the William Wallace for the Bills. And you figure that they were going to stampede the Bengals. And brother, the Bengal cat said, no. We are the king of the jungle. And we may not be in the Cincinnati jungle, but you're in our jungle now. And they just dominated their ass. Braveheart, thank you. Thank you for all the Bravehearts there. And they overcame all of that. Okay? That's some impressive stuff. And that's why the only thing I got right was the Bengals. And sometimes you got to look at things and you got to reassess them and you got to say, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, no, I'm wrong here. And I underestimated the Bengals a couple weeks back. I've been respecting them ever since now. And that's why I picked them in the money line and I took the points because they're for real, dude. They are for real. And let me tell you something. Right now, they may be, and even with the backup linemen, they may be the best chance the AFC has to actually win the Super Bowl. Because right now with Pat Mahomes, that just puts them on a real deficit. Because that ankle must be, I've busted up my ankle several times. I've never broken it, but I've never I've twisted it several times that it ends up like a big old avocado or mango. You know what I'm saying? And I know how that is. I've had the high ankle sprains, all of that. That stuff lasts forever. And I know they have the most professional treatment that exists, but high ankle sprains are high ankle sprains. I don't care who you are. That crap will last several weeks. And he doesn't have several weeks. So he may be even more limited now for this coming game than he was on adrenaline. Because as you all know, anybody that's played ball, you twist your ankle, you do not open your sneaker. In fact, you tighten it up even more if you want to finish that game, correct? Right? You tell the fellas, hey, we're good. You just get by and you kind of limp throughout. And then you get home and you get into the Epsom salt and all that, and that thing just starts to balloon. Okay? We've all done it, right? Doesn't matter. And I've done it several times. Okay, I got an ankle that I can go like this. I mean, it's just cracking bones the whole time. I can do it endless, and it's crack. It's making all kinds of noises because that right ankle of mine has been bent every which way but loose, as Clint Eastwood would say. That's an old reference. Anyway, so Bengals are the real deal. Okay? They are the real deal. Give them the respect that they deserve. Give them the respect I wasn't giving them a couple of months ago. Kevin Beal, thank you for the love on the super chat, my brother. I appreciate you. Big O, LOL, hard at people on Twitter that say you're a right-wing nut or a woke liberal. Us loyal listeners know you ain't either. Bro, it's the problem is you got to understand, Kevin. Those are the little Trumpy bitches. That's all. That's all. Those are all the little Trumpy bitches. That's all because I bitch slap Trumpy bitches. Right? That's all. Those are the Trumpies that say that stuff. You know, I believe in guns. I voted for Reagan. I voted for Bush. I voted for Bush Jr. even the first go around. The second go around, you're a goofball. You know, that's all right. Whatever, dude. That's how they roll. I don't know who I'm going to vote for this time around. My pocket, my money says to vote for DeSantis if he runs, but somebody's got to come up with a better candidate that maybe is complete. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I'm just willing to say the things that others aren't willing to say, Democrats or Republicans. That's all. You know what I mean? So Democrats that are just blind ass Democrats, they just go out, they just protect bum ass Biden. I'm not, but that's how it is. And so if I'm picking on a Dem, then they think I'm a Republican. If I'm picking on a Republican, then they think I'm a Dem. And it's just stupid. And I voted for all of them. I voted for Clinton. I voted for Obama. I have voted for Bush. I voted for Reagan. I voted for both sides because I vote for Americans. I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. They're both clown shows. Okay? So when you give me Bernie, Hillary, and Biden, that's the sewage that you can come up with? Now, there's no lower sewage than Trump, but, these are the selections you're giving me? My God. This is why we're in the crapper. So it's all good, bro. It's just the hardcore Dems or the hardcore Republicans have no balls to take shots at their own. And so they blindly follow whatever shit that they give them to be candidates. Meanwhile, Americans lose overall because we don't win with any of these clowns. We don't win with a $1.7 trillion bill that passed when the Republicans could have stopped it. But what they do, would they probably cut their own deals behind closed doors to benefit them, and that's why they approved it. You can't talk all that crap about how bad the bill is, and then you go along with them because you don't care about us. That's all. Republicans and Democrats don't care about us. But, that's all right. If you idiots want to keep going down that path, then you go ahead and go down that path. You guys want to fight amongst each other thinking that your side's got it right? You go ahead and do that too. It's about the dumbest thing that there is out there. What am I going to tell you? By the way, breaking news. The FBI has found classified documents here at my house that Joe Biden left. He visited about a couple years ago, and I didn't notice, okay? I went over to the garage, and I found it right there. It was under the puppy pads. I don't know if he was trying to stash them or something, but they found classified documents in my house, actually, yesterday. Joe Biden left them here, too. By the way, I'm starting to think, who the hell runs our classified documents in the White House, in the government? I bet you all presidents have some. I bet you other presidents like, honey, should we look around? Do I have anything left over from when I was president? They clearly don't track any of our classified documents, right? They clearly allow them to be taken, whatever. People will tell you, no, I don't. Oh no, we've given all, the whole lies from Trump and everything, and yeah, no problem, whatever. It's like, it's the weirdest thing, dude. How are we a superpower? There are people hanging around with documents. You know that we have spies in other countries going, we need to break into all former presidents that are alive right now, just in case they might have some documents lying around. Jesus. So yeah, Kevin, I crush Democrats and Republicans that, think that way. So it's all good. It's all good. I have fun at the expense of both, and they can't handle it. That's the problem. They can't handle it, But what can I tell you? Christian, thank you for the love on the super chat. Cincy run game is perfect example why we are a solid run back. Or maybe why we need one is what you're saying. They definitely need a Joe Mixon. I'm with you there. Who is the president of the classified documents? I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's got to be. It certainly ain't Sean Stanley. If Sean Stanley was in charge of classified documents, they would not be let out. He would have bitch slapped Trump and Biden at the same time. So give me back those documents, you morons. What do you got for us, Sean?
Ira's ready.
Oh, Ira's ready. Does he have classified documents at his house? Did they find any at his house? Let's talk to the man who has all the classified information of the Miami Heat, Ira Winderman, and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
So, Ira, do you ever wonder? Hey, you're joining us today, Sean? So do you ever wonder who's in charge of our classified documents? Because I bet you every former president's got a couple lying around in their pad somewhere. I bet you Nancy Nancy's not around with us anymore. Who's left? Well, Bill's probably got some hanging around somewhere under a cigar humidor or something.
It's interesting because when you go to a bunch of places, they say what you have can't leave the building. You've been to libraries where they say this book can't be checked out. Shouldn't it be just as simple as if you need them, go to the place where you need them, do it there. Don't take stuff home. I mean, honestly, even all the radio stations you've been at, the newspapers I've been at, there's certain things you can't take from the office and you just leave it there. This, to me, the whole thing just is it's just ludicrous that something that highly classified and be in transit to your house at your house and just laying around when we all watch these Homeland and spy shows. And like you said during the crosstalk, we're so desperate to get information, but we'll just kind of leave it here flicked all over the place. Crazy.
It's really amazing, dude. Whoever's in charge should be fired, bro. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. That is some crazy stuff. All right, let's get to it. The Heat are on a roll right now. They are 14-7 in their last 21 games. They're 5-2 in their last 7 games. But I went over it. OKC, Houston, San Antonio, Minnesota, the Lakers, Utah, Phoenix is even mediocre, Oklahoma, Milwaukee, no Giannis twice, New Orleans, no Zion twice. It's kind of a break. Now, to their credit, they've taken advantage of this break and they have won the games that they should be winning, throughout this whole thing. But is it a false sense of security for any Heat fan that thinks you've turned the corner and you're becoming a good team? Or is there more, let's say, credibility to this streak?
This is where the league is, Big O, because think of all the games the Heat lost when they didn't have Jimmy Butler and they didn't have Tyler Hero or they didn't have Bam Adebayo. This is where the league is. No one shows up every night anymore. I had someone ask me on Twitter saying, when's the last time you saw a game where everyone played for both teams? And honestly, Big O, I'm not sure off the top of my head I can chronicle it or even look back. That's where the league is. So what I say is this. You go to the litmus test games. To me, tomorrow at home against Boston, if Smart is back, if they played players in the second night of a back-to-back. But that's all you get in the NBA these days. In this overplayed 82-game schedule, you probably only get 10 times a year when you really can take measure of who your team is. That's the beauty of the NFL and college football. Every game matters because there's so few of them. So yes, the Heat are beat up on patsies, the Heat are beat up on shorthanded teams, but shorthanded teams beat up on the Heat. And it happens both ways. And don't kid yourself, Big O. The Celtics and the Sixers and the Nets and the Cavaliers, everyone has built their record on this kind of competition.
Yeah, but their record is like way over 500.
You know what? The Heat are only 3 games behind the Cavaliers in the loss column right now. If they can sustain, what they can't have are these crappy games like the Atlanta game and like the Dallas game. You've got to throw the stinkers out because the stinkers expose you of not being an all-the-time team. But I got to say this, and I'll talk to Kurt Heelan on our RedRecover.com Inside the Paint show on Wednesday about this. I've never felt more of a time in the NBA when teams just aren't coming every night anymore. And I think it's a disgrace and an embarrassment to the sport when you have no idea who's showing up. Steve Kerr said it last week. Take us down to 72 games. I don't know if that's few enough, if it still doesn't change. But every time I turn on the TV, it's not a case of who's playing. It's a case of me trying to find out who's not playing. In the NFL, a player misses a game, it's a big deal.
I don't even know how you're a season ticket holder in today's basketball.
I don't know in any sport, regardless. But again, that's the difference.
Football, you can be in. Football, like you just said.
In football,
right.
a player gets a high ankle sprain in the first half and he's back in the second half because it means that much to you. That's the difference. The NBA is a real problem. And I don't think in today's gazillion channel universe, with everything online and so much attention span, I don't think any sport needs to go 80 games. Baseball certainly doesn't need 162.
That sport is dying. That sport is dying in itself. It really. They really need to shorten that sport.
Make it a coveted item. Even soccer, you play once a week, so it's a happening. Maybe on a busier weekend in the Premier League to catch up on games, you play a Wednesday game and a Sunday game. But your games are special. It's not just, okay, I'll turn on NBA season ticket. There's another 30 games. Who cares? That's the problem. So the Heat's record is built the same way as everyone else. But now they have to sustain. Atlanta was awful. Dallas was even worse.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting the way, things have kind of shaken out lately, and at least they got the win. I mean, last night was a win. It wasn't very pretty, but you'll take it. And tomorrow we'll see. It's the test. Lowry, by the way, actually had a decent game last night. Not a lot of assists, but he did end up scoring and playing some defense.
Fourth quarter. It's crazy. He scored 9 straight points in the fourth quarter last night. He was the difference in winning the game.
Yeah.
And I went back and I looked up this morning. I scored a story on Kyle Lowry on NBA.com. Heat fourth quarter scoring. Kyle Lowry sixth on the team in fourth quarter scoring points per game, behind Max Strus, behind Victor Oladipo, and barely ahead of Jamal Cain. That's not what you expected from one of the clutchest players, really, in the history of the sport before he got into his late 30s. Again, you pointed it out from the moment it was signed. I was there. I was on your shows. We were doing the Acura of Pembroke Pines reports, and you said to me, Ira, 36 years old, this isn't the same player. 85 million, it's too much. And we're seeing that. And players do age, and Kyle is aged. And you know what? The fact that Kyle Lowry had 9 points in the fourth quarter, both myself and Anthony Chang just posted a story at the Miami Herald, and made it a big deal, shows you how infrequently it's coming to Kyle Lowry, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a terrible deal. But the good thing is, let's put a bright spot on it. Next year, you will have an expiring contract. They will be able to move him. Here's where the magic of Riley over the years has happened. And now you've got the trade chip for the expiring deal. You now have to find the disgruntled star again. And that's going to be the key. There's got to be a disgruntled star out there next year, this offseason. And then maybe you can make that move with Lowry and whatever, a first rounder or two or whatever.
You have a Julius Randle starting an extension, and now the Knicks are going in a different direction with Barrett. And stop shaking your head. For those people just listening right now, Big O just shook his head. I understand, but that's what we're talking. And I can make a case for you that Julius Randle next to Bam Adebayo could work to a degree with his outside shooting. Not saying it's going to, but what I'm saying is this, and stop with that look.
You trust him?
What I'm saying is this, that's the type of player you will have to settle for.
I see what you're saying.
Right. Contract. But the one thing I will say is this, toward the end of contracts, God bless the Miami Heat, they did trade Dion Waiters. They did trade James Johnson. They did move Tyler Hero. So you're right. Toward the end, Andy Ellisberg and Pat Riley can
Brian Grant, Eddie Jones, Whiteside.
Well, he wasn't. Yeah, he was part of a deal when he was re-signed at the end there. But again, it's the case of chicken soup out of chicken feathers. They do find a way to do it. What I want to see, and when I will call them the maestros and the magicians, can they move Duncan Robinson's contract by the February 9th NBA trading deadline? And if they do that, then those two men are capable of anything. So I think that'll be fascinating.
By the way, what the hell's going on with Strus?
You know, there's two ways to look at it. I wrote a Sunday column on it. They have asked him, Big O, to do. The other
night he had the 10 assists, and I'm like, yeah, baby.
10 rebounds the night before, and the 10 rebounds the night before that. They're asking him to be everything and everyone. He has started at power forward. He has started small forward. He has started shooting guard. He's played minutes at point guard. He's played more as a starter than as a reserve. He needs to get settled into a role and play that consistently for 5 or 10 games. That's Ira's theory on this side. Ira's theory on the other side, he is who he is. I spoke to someone the other day, and they said, you can talk, you mentioned this also, Big O. You can talk all you want about how the Heat have 10 undrafted players on their roster, the developmental process, God bless them. But there's limitations with those players. There's a reason they were undrafted. Guys like that can become nice stories. Will they become great stories? So, Big O, I have a question for you. You saw the Heat went out and gave Duncan Robinson 5 years, $90 million, about $80 million guaranteed. You're going to have that same question with Max Strus this offseason. You're going to have that same question with Gabe Vincent this offseason. Do you learn lessons, or do you hope the growth continues? That's going to be interesting.
Here's my problem with. Listen, if you're going to move Lowry, you're going to need Vincent.
Okay.
But unless you're getting another point guard in return that really can score or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But here's my yin and yang to this. What I see sometimes is I watch these young guys like they did last year early on when they had injuries and they were all thriving and helping you out. And then everybody got healthy and then they casted them aside. And so now you're getting Caleb Martin and you're throwing him a power forward, and then you're throwing Strus in all different places. And then you're giving Gabe minutes, and then you're not giving him minutes. And so my problem with your young guys is they're showing me something, but then you can't keep messing with them and giving them heavy minutes and then taking it away and then making them play another role and then this and that. And then you're asking them to be a a 12-year veteran that is sitting calmly on the bench and saying, hey, Posey, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And then Posey can adjust to that because that's freaking James Posey. He's been at this for a while. We're asking young guys who are learning this league, and then we're effing with them all the time by cutting minutes and putting them and moving them. And it's just, I just think that if you bring back any of these young guys, like if you do bring back Strus and you give him a contract, please give him the consistent responsibility that comes along with it, because once you take the groove out of Stella ain't got no groove anymore. And then that's what's happened to Duncan. Duncan had the groove. Then he got in a funk, and then he was done. These guys, I think, are doing kind of the same thing with them. There's too much seesaw in their opportunity.
Or are they not good enough? Is trying to get Caleb Martin to be Jay Crowder and PJ Tucker simply above his talent level? It might be.
They're not Jay Crowder. They're not. They can't play. Like, they're not power forwards, man.
Well, I'm just saying, but the same thing with Max and with Duncan. You could project the growth, but you know what? At a certain point, all our growth reaches a limit. You see it with movie stars and comedians and television shows, and they realize, you know what? Our show's not good anymore. We're going to end it after this season. We've topped out. Breaking Bad's been as good as it could be, but we're not going to keep going. You know when you've reached that point. You know, the old expression of jumping the shark with Fonz on Happy Days. So what you have to do is you have to be very careful to say, okay, you know, Max Strus and Gabe Vincent have reached this level, but are there really more levels, or is this who they are? And you know what? Sometimes you have to be real with yourself, and you have to go, Eric Spoelstra, Octavio Delagrana, Anthony Carter are great developmental staff. We can only squeeze so much juice out of this orange, and that's it. We've gotten the most, and then you move on. We see teams do that all the time. Hey, the Charlotte Hornets, right or wrong, decided with Caleb Martin, this is the most we can get out of them. We're moving on. Maybe they'll be proven right. Maybe they were proven wrong.
Well, Miami got more out of Caleb than Charlotte did.
Right, but maybe Charlotte said he has one more level to reach. We don't think we're going to pay him on one more level. The Heat decided there's 2 or 3 more levels. With Duncan, they decided there were 5 levels, and they were wrong.
I just have a hard time using Charlotte as our measuring stick for anything.
But I'm just saying in general, teams know.
I got to have fun with that. That was a volley. You served me a volley. I had to slam it. I had to slam it.
Teams get off. And just like, even like, you know what, like with years with Ryan Tannehill, everyone kept saying he'll get better. He'll do more. He'll do more. For better or worse, the Dolphins decided, hey, this is it. We're going to cut bait. Going to have to do it with Tua soon. You're going to have to decide how much more upside your player has. Tannehill goes to Tennessee, is in a run-dominated, defensive-dominated system, finds a way just to be a guy there and makes it work. That's what the Heat have to decide. They have a lot of decisions to make this summer, but because of that, Big O, they have a lot of decisions to make by February 9th. Because if they're not going to go long run with these guys, you still can get value.
All right. Does everybody play tomorrow?
Everybody for the Heat plays tomorrow. Everybody for the Celtics, I have no damn idea, because this league... Now, the league has said if you're a nationally televised game, you must prioritize it with your rotations. It is national television, no local broadcast tomorrow, TNT. So in theory, the edict has gone from Adam Silver to the Celtics. Sit your guys tonight if you want. Get them ready in Miami. Coaches do whatever they want. They look out for their team's best interest. Boston's thought might be get a victory, sit the guys. I don't know. I can no longer tell fans.
Sit the guy, isn't it? Aren't they in Orlando tonight?
They are in Orlando tonight. So I'm saying
sit your guys. You can beat Banchero and the boys.
You would think so, but coaches also think this way. Hey, let's just get a split. Let's get the sure thing in Orlando. We'll sit our guys, not let Miami get full of themselves. Oh, we're better than the Celtics. We're going to get them in the playoffs. Not show any of your hand in your playbook. So maybe they go that way. It is just a shame. I just wish executives in the league could sit where I sit before games when people are walking down the stands and they lean over to me and they go, hey, is so-and-so playing? And the look on their faces when I say, no, he's out for them tonight. He's not playing. No Giannis. There's nothing worse than a kid walking into Miami-Dade Arena with a Giannis jersey, leaning over to me going, is Giannis playing tonight? And me having to be the one to tell him, no, he's not. And that's what the league is telling hundreds and thousands of fans every night when they go to a game, including when Steph Curry was scheduled to make his only appearance all season in Cleveland, and Steve Kerr decided it was in the team's best interest not to play any of his starters.
Yeah, that's this is going to lead to season ticket sales going downhill over the
And they
next
don't care
couple of
about
years.
that. It's all about television rights and
Yeah, it's
streaming
all about
rights.
yeah,
And
but I mean, it's going to look bad when you have a lot of empty seats constantly all around the NBA. That's not going to be a good look in a lot of places because that's going to end up.
they'll get a bunch of seat fillers. They'll have Kramer sit there. It'll be fine.
All right. What do you think about tomorrow night? Can healthy rosters? You like Miami's chances?
I do for this reason. If you remember, they played consecutive games in Boston the last week of November after Thanksgiving. They lost a competitive game the first game, and then Jimmy Butler came back. And it might have been the Heat's best performance of the season on that Friday night when Jimmy just went crazy at the end of the game. I think the Heat still target games and saying, we've got to make a statement here. If the Heat can win against most of the Celtics tomorrow, I think that gives them the confidence going forward to saying, you know what? We don't have to play for sixth place anymore. We can chase Cleveland. We can make a move. I think tomorrow is one of the, if I was going to say red letter games, you'd circle 5 or 6 games on the Heat schedule. That would be one of them against Boston.
Favorite Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young song?
I don't know. I was more of the CSN era after when Neil Young left them, so I'm going to stay off of this one. I can't chronicle in my head. Right.
You don't have any? Just Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
What was it? Teach Your Children Well?
Okay, that's a great song. It's a great song. Yeah. Southern Cross is also a very nice one too. That's an excellent.
No, you know what? And they're still on my playlist. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's that music is always soothing.
And I got to tell you, the fact what David Crosby went through to be alive as long as he was, I mean, you talk about a guy who indulged in everything. It's like almost like that was like almost one of those guys.
Richards and Ozzy. Keith Richards and Ozzy. It's the same thing. It's like
how.
Wow.
It's like pharmacology. Wow. Yeah, pharmacology can work miracles sometimes. Children do not follow their example.
Yeah, no. They even survived drugs and a pandemic. Those guys are amazing. Yeah, it's just crazy. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Better yet, subscribe like I and many others do. Ira, as always, we will catch you on Wednesday.
It'll be nice.
Inside the Paint Show.
Right after the Celtics game, we'll have a full review with Kurt Heelan. I'll be back with you before the Magic game. They're interesting on Friday in our Acura Pembroke Pines report. Thanks, Big O.
Banchero makes it worthwhile. Thank you. I appreciate it. Banchero just makes it worthwhile watching that team. Seriously. I like watching that Banchero kid. They got a player there, man. They got themselves a player. Ira Winderman is a player. That's our Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. By the way, Nature Bee, a proud sponsor of our program. Right now, you can get 2 months for $66. We're going to give you the 3rd month for free and free shipping. Go to naturebee.com. Tell them that Big O sent you. Man, those 2 golden capsules power me every single day. The energy. I just love how the boosting of the immune system. And, we're in a virus-filled world. Throughout the entire pandemic, man, okay, I constantly worked. I wasn't in my house. We did 3 to 4 live shows out on the road every week in the heart of the pandemic. And, one of the reasons why I rarely ever have a cold, and let me tell you, my wife, she gets one every once in a while. She's exposed to, kids a lot. So she gets it. So she gets it once in a while, but I rarely get it from her. Or I don't get it from my daughter either. And she doesn't go to school anymore. So she's not in classrooms like all the time and all that kind of stuff. So, a lot of online stuff and all that. So she doesn't have the big nasties anymore. But anybody that's followed my career for 20 years, you know that I rarely ever have a cold. You rarely ever see me with a cold. And that's Nature Bee. I credit it all to Nature Bee. And it's great for so many reasons. It's great also for kids. It's great for the adults. It's pure plant pollen grown in clean green New Zealand, folks, not in some lab somewhere. So you can't even overdose on it. You can take 100 of them. It won't do anything to you. Boost the hell out of your immune system. That's for damn sure. Go to naturebee.com. Great for the indigestion. It has so many benefits. Plant pollen. It is something that is a a source from Mother Nature that is just made perfectly for you, and your body will benefit. Stronger nails, fuller hair. Look at my hair at 56. Maybe that's another reason why my hair is so healthy. Nature Bee, man. naturebee.com. Been taking it for 21 years now. Go to naturebee.com. 2 months for $66. We're going to throw in the third month for free and free shipping. So less than $1 a day. That is crazy. naturebee.com. All right. This is all thanks to Greg Popovich. The NBA is now a soft man's league. These players have no heart compared to the players from the 80s and 90s. So, yeah, it's not even close. All this taking days off and games off and all that. I don't know how your season ticket holders are not getting their money's worth, man. It's pretty gross. Victor Huertas. Big O does essential moving experts move within GA. Yes, they do it in Georgia. Bro, they're right there in Daytona. So they're right there for you. Within Georgia, no problem. They're right there. They'll send their trucks and take care of you right there. You're close to their home base, man. So call them. Call Sean Williams. Tell them that Big O sent you. Okay? They will take care of you. Pull up that essential moving experts board right there. See it right there? There's the number. Write it down. 386-213-4054, Victor. Tell them that Big O sent you so they can tell them, hey, what I think you get $150 off. I'm pretty sure if you mention my name. So make sure you ask right there. Okay. So there you go. And talk to Sean, and he'll take care of you, man. He's really good people and a Dolphins fan too. Essential Moving Experts can help you anywhere in the country. Okay. They're not a local moving service. They're nationwide, but their home base is very close to you because they're in the northern part of Florida. There you go. All right. Any other super chats? Thank you out there. Remember, you can always send in a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. What we got going on? How's the market doing right now? Let's see what we got going on. Well, markets are up right now. Not bad. Dow is up 243 points. S&P is up 39 points. All right. Not bad. That's good stuff. What about Bitcoin? Bitcoin is at 22,820. By the way, we had some fun with some of you out there. I had to have a little fun with this because I knew what was going to happen because, a lot of people don't really know much about this stuff. And so I just put it out there. I put a poll. And about 12,000 have viewed it, but only 146 voted. And I put Bitcoin is up 2.5%. At that moment, it was at 21.6. So I said, will Bitcoin go to? And then I put 22K, 23K, down to 20K, or down to 19. Guess which one won? The one that was most wrong out of all of them, down to 19. And I knew this was going to happen because you know why? Since less than 5% of the world know anything about crypto or Bitcoin, 95% of the world, most of you watching and listening and downloading at any time, day or night, most of you have no idea really what Bitcoin is or cryptocurrency or blockchain or DeFi or smart contracts. None of that. The thing that's going to take over the world, the thing that's going to financially empower human beings all over the world, most of you have no idea that this is coming, okay? And most of you, see, the funny part is that they look at this as the scam when the scam is what's being done to us every single day by all these banks all over the world, okay? Just look at their deficits, right? But whatever. Anyway, and so I knew that because most people don't know anything about it, you're not going to get all the people that actually know Bitcoin about it. So, you'll get the haters and the people and the trolls. So 40 and 23. And 22, which was the right one, was the one that people guessed less. Although it's really closer to 23 if we round it up, because it's been stuck at 22.8 after it went to 23. So 23 or 22, if you had that, you were a hell of a lot more right than the fools that went to 19 or 20. But hey, the good thing is nobody's tracking what you're saying. So it's all good. It's all good. That is funny, man. That is funny. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Anyway, what else do we have? Oh, by the way, one more thing I wanted to show you all. For those of you that are into a little crypto, biggest companies in the world. Bitcoin right now is at number 19 in the world. 19. Okay? They're bigger than Tesla. They're bigger than JP Morgan. They're bigger than Walmart, Meta, which is Facebook, MasterCard, Chevron, Eli Lilly and Company, Procter and Gamble, the other JP Morgan Chases, Home Depot. Okay? Just, So NVIDIA, Johnson & Johnson, Visa, these are all Berkshire Hathaway. All these companies are ahead of them. Apple's number 1. But Bitcoin's already at number 19 if it was a company and you were comparing market caps. It's only a matter of time. I can only tell you so much. I can only show you so much. I can only give you the facts like I do on the show constantly. And in a couple of years, you will then say, that crazy sumbitch was right. Anyway, Karen says, I feel sorry for parents who spend their hard-earned money to take their kids to see a basketball game only to see their favorite player expensive clothing on the sidelines. I know. It's ridiculous now. The NBA is completely ripping off their fans that attend games. You can watch. It's awesome. You know why? Oh, they're not playing? I'll turn it off. I don't need to watch. That's it. Because once you saw, admit it, you're watching the Heat game against Milwaukee without Giannis twice. You're watching the game, but you're kind of half-assed watching it because you're happy that they won and all that, but the win doesn't mean as much because there is no Giannis. The game didn't mean as much because there is no Giannis. And the game wasn't nearly as impressive because there was no Giannis. So you're watching it, and you're watching it because you love the team and you're dealing with it, but it's not something that you're necessarily happy because you're like, well, they were without Giannis. What's the big deal? And it just takes away from it. And you can just turn it off and say, well, they should win this game. Nobody cares anyways. Without Giannis, it's nothing. So this is why, I got into a discussion with someone once. So the problem is when you work for the NBA radio, NBA, like a NBA channel or the NFL channel or something like that, when you deal with people that work for those entities, they're also working for the league. So they really can't, and I brought this person, I'm not going to say his name, but he got all bent out of shape when I told him that the regular season has very little meaning. Hey, he made it sound like, oh, that's not true, this, that. And well, of course, dude, you work for the league. What are you going to do? The entity you work for, you're going to say, yeah, no, you're right. And now more than ever, the regular season has no meaning. It sucks. The way the NBA is treating its fans, it's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. It's a disgrace. You got people paying their hard-earned money to go to games, and you got people, Michael Jordan, dude, played 80, 81, 82 games all the time. Go look at his basketball reference. Dude, the guy played 81 or 82 games in Washington at the end of his career. Let me see here. I'll pull it up. Last time I checked, he's doing all right. Michael Jordan, right? He's not all broken down or whatever, right? He's drinking lots of whiskey and playing golf and having some fun and owns a team and has the world by the complete you know what, right? And he played every game and played hard as hell. Battle anybody, I don't care. You tell, I excel. They all fell. Here we go. Here's Michael Jordan. Check it out. Here's his stats on reference. All right. Check this out. From 1984 on. All right. 82. Then he broke the ankle 7, 82, 82, 81, 82, 82, 80, 78. Oh my God, what a slacker. 94, 95. I don't know why it says 17 there. Was there a strike or was there some kind of shortened season or something? Anyway, maybe he got injured again. 82, 82, 82. And oh look, I thought it was more. 53 and 67 actually started. He played in 82 his last game and 60 the year before that. So he started 67, but he played 82. His last year he played 82, started 67. That's played in 82 games his last year. That's crazy, dude. I mean, think about that. That guy played 82, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in his career. And he played 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's what it was. That's when he came back from baseball. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to go 14 because that year was a shortened year. He couldn't have played 82. So 9 out of 14 years, the man played 82 games. And by the way, Michael Jordan is the night before in some of these places at a casino, gambling his ass off till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Then hitting the McDonald's drive-thru on his way to the arena after he slept in and scored 52 on your head. Okay? Michael Jordan is just the best. He will always be the best. That makes him, by the way, that's another reason why he's the effing GOAT over everybody else. Okay, all these people nowadays, LeBron, everybody included. Yeah, I get you. Take your little days off. Get the hell out of here. That's a stud right there. That's a man's man right there. Not only will he play all the games, he'll go gamble till 2 in the morning, bang abroad, go to sleep, wake up, hit the McDonald's drive-thru, and then score 52 on your head. That's what I'm talking about there. That's a man's man right there. Michael Jordan. Gamble, bang, and then run your ass right off the court. Oh, and by the way, also earn all defensive honors too. Not only did he score on your ass, then he just tortured you on the other side of the court. Love it. There will never be another Michael Jordan as much as that pisses off LeBron too. I don't care about LeBron. I never put LeBron in Michael's class, bro. 6 titles, 6 MVPs. There's only one Jordan, you know. All you had to do was watch him. And you know that guy had just ruthlessness inside of him every single time. And if he played in today's game, he would be even better. Because you're giving him today's nutrition and medicine and everything. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Michael would be even better, stronger, faster, probably would jump farther. MJ's just at another level. And look at what the league is doing to season ticket holders. It's pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad. Let's see. History is endless. Someone at some point will be better than Jordan. No, not anymore, Green Lion. No. No. You can't be better than Jordan if you can't play entire seasons. You can't be better than Jordan if you can't go to 7 NBA finals and win all 7 MVPs. You can't be better than Jordan. Now, this soft-ass league, and Jordan played when they would foul you. Okay? That's the other thing, Green Lion. I don't know if you're a little too green. Maybe you're a little too young. But he played in an era with, what's it called? Mahorn and Lambeer and the ruthlessness of the Celtics. And are you kidding me, dude? No way. You had to go through redwood trees. You had to deal with Alonzo Mourning and Patrick Ewing, and you had to deal with Mark Eaton, and you had to deal with David Robinson, and you had to deal. Oh, please, dude. You had to deal with like Hakeem Olajuwon. You had to deal with real badass centers, Shaq, and you had to deal with people that would hammer your ass when you went through the lane. Not this wussy-ass basketball that they got going on now. Nothing will ever compare to Michael Jordan ever again, because basketball is not nearly as physical, because basketball is not nearly as demanding. It's more finesse and more about, I don't know, I would call it athletic finesse is what I would call it. The kind of balls you need to play in the league when Michael played and to be as good as he was, shit. Come on, man. You have no idea what it's like when guys like Joe Dumars and Alvin Robertson and guys that are just nasty covering you. Gary Payton and oh my God, no. You youngins have no idea what the basketball game was back in the day and how they let you play defense and how your body was really beaten up in those kind of games. Nah, disagree. Kobe was the closest in mentality. Yes, he was in mentality. Yes, he was. But I'll still take Michael over him because he was more efficient than Kobe. Kobe shot at a much lower percentage. And Kobe also took shots that Michael would not take because they were irresponsible shots. Because he took some long distance stuff that Michael would never do. Michael will take a 3-pointer, but he's going to take a 3-pointer right at the line. You know, he's not going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 feet behind the line and just jack. So Kobe at times did things that were not efficient, okay, as great as he was, whereas Michael's efficiency was also part of his effectiveness too. But yes, mentally, I'm with you. Kobe had it. Definitely. It's not even up for argument. Yeah, Kobe was a bad man. No doubt about that. Brian says it's crazy back then. Scoring 100 plus was a real good night. Now you lose even when you score 140 points. No deal. Well, it's like you know what you're playing. You're playing Doug Moe and the Nuggets. That's all. It's Lafayette Lever and Alex English and all those guys running up and down the court and not playing any defense and scoring. That's kind of what Paul Westphal wanted to do also, that he brought it, you know, that kind of game too. That was kind of his game too. Whereas fast pace, quick possessions, get rid of the ball quickly, get more opportunities, all that kind of stuff that is going on now. Those were the initial elements of that kind of basketball. So there you go. Big O, you sound like the old man on the front porch. Yeah, well, I am. Yeah, I am. I'm definitely the old man on the front porch because, you know, this wussy ass shit that I see in the NBA, yeah, ain't going to compare it to back in the day. Yeah, no. So, honest question. Did they have a lot of back-to-back games back then? I didn't really get into watching basketball until I moved back to, of course, they had back-to-back games. Yeah, dude. Plenty of back-to-back games all the time. And the planes weren't nearly as comfortable, and the hotels aren't nearly as comfortable, and the food wasn't nearly as good as it is now, and the treatment from the medicine and the trainers and all of that is not nearly as good as it is now, and the supplements that they take now are, everything was at a deficiency compared to what you have now. Everything and anything. And they still played more games, and they played a much tougher brand of basketball. What else do we have here? What else did I pass up? Eric, Ken Dorsey looked lost this year as the OC. One day, maybe the Bills will realize you need to give your running backs more than 5 carries. Well, they weren't really impactful in the run game this year as much as they should be, and that was an issue. The question is, how many tablets and laptops did Ken Dorsey break yesterday? Okay. What else do we have here? What else do we have? I'm not even liberal, just pointing out he seems to be more concerned with cultural wars than actually governing. I don't think he's talking about me, I guess. What else do we have here? Okay. All right. Oh, we got got a super chat here. Nico, thank you for the love on the super chat. Oh, don't forget back then Jordan couldn't play GM and buddy up with his friends to win championships like stars due to yeah, exactly. Well, there was none of that going on then. It was just free agency, and they got whoever they got. They didn't ask you. They didn't ask Jordan who you wanted. He just ended up with a whole bunch of titles. That's all. Yeah. So I'm with you there. The Bills shouldn't. Oh, by the way, I should break. Let me take a break here. 1 hour down, 2 more to go right here on the Big O Radio Show on the Sports Talk 305 Network.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, we're back. We got a co-host for a moment here. This is our Tua. So remember, I tell you guys that Tua's a lot like my what's this damn it, New Yorkie. Yes, my Yorkie, Ziggy. And so Ziggy is fearless, right? But Ziggy weighs about 4 pounds. Okay, he's all hair. See what I'm saying? Except he's nice and bald here, right? My wife grooms him properly. So this is Ziggy. Now, this dog acts like he weighs 300 pounds. This dog will attack a grizzly bear, okay? But see, like Tua, we don't want him to attack grizzly bears because he might get injured, right, Ziggy? Right? So this is Ziggy here. This is our little Ziggy boy, our Yorkie, who is, by the way, the best alarm system that there is next to Sloman's. Okay, because he is barking when somebody. All right, I'll let you go. All right. Anyway, so he's off and running. So that's one of our boys, and that's our Tua. You know, our Yorkie, fearless, but fragile. I don't want my Ziggy, trying to put his shoulder into another player. Oh, hey, coach, I needed that for myself. No, you don't, moron. Okay? You're not Josh Allen. Stop doing that. That gets you injured. So, there you go. So, when I tell you that Tua is my Yorkie, now you have met Ziggy. And he is definitely the most fearless dog I have ever had in my life. Dumb, but fearless. Because Ziggy's about 3 years old now, I want to say. Yeah, about 3. Something like that. Oh, can you sick Ziggy on anyone who wants Brady coming to our team? No, I'll just sick Maiden on them. Maiden will take care of them. I can't bring Maiden in here. She's big and she is relentless. She will not stay still. She will overpower me, and it'll be a disaster in the studio. I can bring Ziggy because I can hold him for a little bit, but he was already anxious to move. Your Yorkie gets concussions too. Well, if he tries to attack Maiden, he will end up concussed. Yeah, that's kind of the point. You don't want to attack the bigger dogs. You just want to kind of play from behind, bark from a distance, throw from a distance. You don't want to be putting your shoulder into somebody. No. Big O, who's the bigger choke artist, Josh Allen or Dak Prescott? Oh, got to go with Dak Prescott. And let's talk a little bit about Dak Prescott, first of all. The Dallas Cowboys. I got to tell you, the Dallas Cowboys are kind of fun because you can always expect the same stuff from the Dallas Cowboys, right? And there we go. There's our boy, Jerry Jones. You saw him yesterday, tweeted that out. I can't believe it's Groundhog Day. Because, his franchise is just meant to choke. That's all. And by the way, don't blame Mike McCarthy. It's not Mike McCarthy that signs the kicker and keeps him around. It's not Mike McCarthy that has a choking ass quarterback in Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott got badly exposed yesterday. He completely crapped in his pants. Oh, and by the way, it's obvious that bed, the sleep, whatever, it doesn't help him win anything. That was bad. He should have thrown another ugly ass interception in that game. And threw two, and he threw a bunch this year. You can't. I'm not a big Mike McCarthy guy, but I can't blame him because he's got a quarterback that has complete deer in headlights look. And Dak Prescott, by this time in his career, he should be more than ready for this kind of situation, and he was not, dude. He's got a receiving core. He's got enough of a line. He's got enough of a running game. You kind of feel bad for the Pollard kid that he got injured. But still, man, it's like, wow, that team, one guy doesn't even know how to get out of bounds and all that. There was a lot of things that went bad with that team. And I can't necessarily blame Mike McCarthy. I got to blame the DNA of Dak Prescott. So he completely choked yesterday. I mean, he looked like the moment was too big for him. That's what I saw overall. I saw a guy that just could not handle the moment. He's got to do some soul searching. He's had injuries and other things that have saved him and have given him a legitimate, out in a season. Here, it was an injury. You were there, dude. You had an opportunity. And I'm not saying that, you're supposed to be better than the 49ers. But I'll tell you this, I give Brock Purdy credit. He makes tough throws. Okay? As the season's gone on, you have to give him credit because even when he went up against Miami and there was this one throw, I forgot who it was. It might have been Jalen Phillips that was barreling down on his ass. And he stayed right there in the pocket and delivered a throw on the money. And he doesn't have a big arm or anything like that. You can tell. But it's not a matter of him wowing you with his athleticism or anything like that. It's a matter of him wowing you with a couple of difficult throws. It doesn't take a big-ass arm for the throws that he makes, but it takes an accurate arm, and it takes some guts. And I got to give the kid credit. He makes some tough throws in key moments on third downs several times. I know he's got great talent. I know that he gets the ball to them and gets it distributed and does all the right things. Meanwhile, the guy that I got there on the screen, boy, his team doesn't do the right things. Jerry Jones, gotta love it. Jerry Jones, clown show. But Dak Prescott is a choker. So I'll go with choker there. And you got to give Brock Purdy some credit, man. He's made some tough throws. I don't know if the Cinderella shoe will eventually fall off and all that, but you got to give the kid credit, man. He has played well for them. Yesterday his stats were 19 of 29, 214 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. but he made some key throws. The stats are never like, oh my God, these are amazing and all that. But he's steady. And on that offense, you don't have to carry them. You just have to facilitate. But to his credit, he makes the throws you need in the key moments. Dak Prescott does not. If I'm a Dallas fan, the window is now closing with that guy at quarterback. So you have a decent team, but you don't have the guy that can elevate everybody. You have a guy that can be a pretty good facilitator on his best day. Not a guy, he's a facilitator, not an elevator. And that's the difference there. So I'll go with Dak Prescott as a choker. As for the Bills, well, the Bills as a franchise, they're choking dogs. You know, in the 90s, at least they got to the Super Bowl. But this is a franchise that does not live up to it. Now, with Josh Allen, I think Josh Allen is still inconsistent. That's what I would call Josh Allen, inconsistent. A guy that cannot produce on a consistent basis because he doesn't know how to take what the defense gives you all the time. He loves to push the envelope and try to make the riskier throws. And he does it too much. And then as an offense, they forgot that you need a running game. I don't care what quarterback you are. And the part that's really stupid on behalf of the head coach and Ken Dorsey, you need to establish a run. And it cannot be your quarterback who is taking vicious hits for no reason at all. There are some of those runs where he's in the middle of these piles, and dude, they are. I let me tell you something. If we had the Bills in town and they were the Dolphins, and we had that same kind of team, I would be very, very critical of the head coach and the offensive coordinator that they don't put a harness on Josh Allen, that they don't teach him how to check down more often, keep the ball moving, keep the drives going. Don't make every throw a home run throw. By the way, something that McDaniel did at times with Tua, that he pushed the envelope way too much and he got too cocky. And that's the other thing that I want Tua to do too. I want him to check down a little bit more. And Josh Allen runs too much and doesn't throw enough short passes. And because of that, you are now counting on his accuracy to be on point. That's not who he is. He has a clutch accuracy gene to him that there are moments when you need it. He seems to make that throw you need. He has done that. But in this game and throughout the season, he's had some of those moments where he hasn't been able to do it. And that's because the room for error is very slim. And that offense is all or nothing instead of learning how to punch somebody. Man, you're a team that lives in the snow and in the winter. That's the reason why the Bills were able to get to 4 Super Bowls. Thurman Thomas. Of course you had Andre Reed. Sure. We all know that. We all know you had Jim Kelly. Yeah, fantastic. You had that, what's the name of that big-ass tight end of theirs that looked like a lumberjack? I forgot his name, but he was pretty good, by the way. But he was such a big dude. So you had some weapons. I get all of that. But you always use Thurman Thomas, man. And what was the name of the kid from like Portland State? He was their backup. That they used him too, and he was a pain in the ass for the Dolphins. They always use Thurman, brother. They used him as a running back. They used him as a receiver, and he killed teams. And he was the main reason why. Besides Kelly, it was all about Thurman Thomas. And this Bills team doesn't seem to focus on the running game. They don't seem to understand that you need to complement Josh Allen with a powerful running game, that you need to take away the runs from Josh Allen. Okay. Now, if you had a Josh Allen that could be more disciplined and more accurate, then you'd be all right. But since you don't, you want to live by this style, you're going to die by this style consistently. Meanwhile, the Dolphins have cut the gap. They're knocking on the door. They could win the division next year. So I wouldn't call Josh Allen a choker. I would call him irresponsible. I kind of like Tua at times. I would say that he's a player that doesn't really still understand what he needs to do in order to be the best player he could possibly be. He's trying to just make the wow plays with the arm or with his legs, instead of also being very deliberate, very committed to moving the chains and keeping the drive alive and taking what the defense gives you, and you have enough talent. So I just think that the Buffalo Bills are mismanaged. So McDermott and Ken Dorsey need to take responsibility. Remember, they barely survived a Dolphins team with their third-string quarterback and injury-riddled all over the place. And if it wasn't for Mike McDaniel constantly making bad decisions on the sidelines in the 2022 season, Miami could have won that game. So, Bills are mismanaged, is what they are. And Josh Allen is a bit ignorant to what he needs to do to become a more complete quarterback instead of just being a highlight reel like what he is. And he's a fantastic highlight reel. You know, some guy was telling me, oh, the Bills are over it. No, they're a damn good team. But they're not invincible because they're mismanaged. And luckily for Miami, you have the gap has cut. You got an opportunity, baby. Take advantage. Take advantage. EJD Construction. We tell you about EJD Construction all the time. 305-433-4843. Eric and the great people. That's the owner's cell number right there. Okay. And we're talking about fully insured liability, workers' comp. So everyone that steps on your property, your home, your business, they're fully insured. So if they get injured on your property, they will not be suing you. Make sure if you hire somebody to do work in your home, they show you and prove to you that they're fully insured. Because if not, somebody gets injured in your home while they're working on it, they can sue you. That's not good. EJD Construction looks out for you, the customer. 305-433-4843. And whatever it is you need to do, you need to modernize that kitchen, modernize the entire house. You want to upgrade everything, you can call EJD Construction, man. From windows to electricity to whatever you need to do. You need to get that roof updated now because a lot of you are trying to get your new policy for the hurricane season. And these companies are telling you, wait a minute, your house is over 20 years old. You need to upgrade your roof. You need to update it and bring it up to code so we can give you your new policy. Call EJD Construction, 305-433-4843. Eric says, Miami has shown me, even with all their injuries, including Tua dealing with concussions, they are better. They are a better team. Jets, if they get a QB, are more of a threat than Buffalo. Well, but they got to get the QB first. And you got to tell me which one it is. Let's see. What else do we have here? I'm not going to talk about that, but Turkey. Those losers are always full of crap. Anyway, Turkey. Turkey complaining now. I'm going to send the equalizer over there. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, what else do we have? Chiefs beating the Jags. No doubt Mahomes that's going to be tough for them. Eagles defeating the frauds that are the Giants. Great job by Dable. Still think you're crazy if you sign Daniel Jones. I think he played his best football. I think this might be the best he can play. I'm just saying, I would not at all give Daniel Jones a big ass contract. So I don't know. Jets are going after Carr. That's nice. Don't fear Carr, but that's nice. Hunter Butler says, "Oh, I remember last year you said the Bengals were going back to the Super Bowl." Yeah, Hunter, I guess you didn't listen to the beginning of the show. Way to go. Anyway, Lamar Jackson, we'll get into that later. What else do we have going on? Panthers defeat the Wild. By the way, they're back in action tonight, taking on the Rangers. Panthers are 7-3 in their last 10. So they're turning things around. The Alex Lyon kid played well on Saturday against the Wild. So they've got the Rangers tonight. Rangers, of course, are better right now. They're 25-14-7. Florida's 23-20-5. So this will be definitely a tough game for them. Inter Miami loses to Vasco da Gama 3-0 in a friendly at the stadium. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I could pull it up here because Franco had it. Franco Panizzo had it. So they were firing fireworks, I guess, the only way I could put it. From the from the stands. And it's where the supporters are on the north stands. And those people are fantastic, the supporters. They are. They do some, I mean, their passion is second to none. Okay? But there are things that you just, this is one of them that you can't do. You can't be firing off fireworks from the stands. That puts people at risk. This is from Franco Panizzo's Twitter feed. So Inter Miami, as they should, they kicked out the 4 idiots that were firing off the fireworks. And so apparently the supporters all got together and walked out in some kind of protest. And I'm sorry, dude, this isn't some, country somewhere in Central and South America where they've got no security and they don't care about people or whatever. Ed Kaplan once told me he went to an international match where they threw a motorcycle off the second floor of the stadium. First of all, how'd you get the motorcycle to the second floor? And then, nobody saw you wheel the motorcycle down the steps in the second level to get down to the bottom of the second level so you can throw it over to the first level? Nobody saw that? I'm sorry. Maybe some of those idiots that are in the north stands are used to being at soccer matches in other parts of the world where they act like animals. Or maybe some of you out there are too drunk or too effed up to understand, but I'm not sure what's there to defend. Seriously. What is it? Now, those 4 people should be banned for life from the stadium. They should not be ever allowed to go to another Inter Miami game again. Where do you think that's a good idea? You realize that if somebody gets injured, do you know who they're suing? They're suing Inter Miami, you idiots. I just gave you a commercial about EJD Construction because like EJD Construction or Cutter's Edge Pro, these are businesses that they're fully insured when they go work in your business. And that's because they're protecting the consumer. Well, guess what? If Inter Miami's security allowed idiots to walk in with Roman candles and all that. And somehow or another, one of those drunken idiots falls and the Roman candle fires off and it hits somebody and it hits somebody in the head or the face or whatever. Guess what, you drunken idiot? They're not going to sue you. They're going to sue the Moss brothers and Inter Miami. So I just want to, those supporters, you guys do a great job of showing your passion. You clearly care about the team. You stay there during rainouts. You stay there during everything. Even when they suck, you're there. I've seen it myself. You're fantastic. But if you really love the team, then don't put it in a position where it actually could suffer. Where does that make any sense? I'm just wondering. For everybody walking out, where do you defend that shit? Okay? This isn't some, half-ass country that has a half-ass soccer league and they don't care about the idiots climbing the fence or throwing flares or throwing bags of urine or all that. If those are the places you want to go to, then get the F out of the country and go to those shitholes. Am I being clear enough? If you want to act like animals, like those other idiots that are throwing bags of urine, then go join them, dude. In America, you try to act like a human being. And if you don't, okay, you get Sha'Carri Richardson kicked off the plane. Are we clear on that? So whether you want to fire flares from the north stands, or you want to act like a freaking idiot on a plane, Sha'Carri, well, then you get what you deserve. There's nothing to defend whatsoever. Zero to defend. You should be arrested. You should be charged. You put people at risk. You put the franchise at risk. Somebody could have gotten injured. And if they do, you don't carry any of the burden or responsibilities. The Moss family has to carry the burden or the responsibilities. Guess what? They have enough in just running a team. Okay? They got to worry about putting together a great product so they can sell tickets and fill that stadium up and create revenue. They don't need people acting like idiots in the stands, firing off Roman candles. You freaking morons. Really, seriously, sometimes the lack of intelligence in this world and lack of common sense, it's just all over the place, dude. All over the place. And anybody that defends that kind of behavior, you don't need those kind of people in the stands. What if that drunken idiot with the Roman, what if he slips and falls and then that thing fires and it hits some kid? What happens then? Oh, I'm sorry. Is that what you're going to say? Is that the thing? Because I'm sorry seems to solve everything in today's world. And those are two of the words that I almost despise at times, because we have such a lazy society that they think that saves their ass from everything. And if you would have fallen and hurt somebody, I'm sorry doesn't fly. It doesn't help. It doesn't work. So good job by Inter Miami. Make sure you ban those 4 idiots for life from the stadium. Send the message to everybody in those stands that either you act accordingly or get the hell out, dude. That's it. Act like a human being or get the hell out. Pretty simple. Frankie says you can't blame Vice City, blame security that allowed him. No, dude. No, Frankie. Dude, you want to leave stupidity and not blame stupidity? No, dude. That's stupidity. That's ignorance. Okay? I don't know who was involved, Vice City, Southern League, what's the other one? There's one more. There's three of them. I know that. Damn it, what's the other one? But I don't care which one of the three were involved or if none of them were involved. Okay? The four idiots that did it, that's criminal activity, dude. That's what that is. That's illegal what they did. So there's no excuses. Just because, you're running a metal detector, a Roman candle stuck in you doesn't probably, and they're not patting people down, Frankie. Also, let's not get ridiculous here. They're not doing that at stadiums. They don't pat you down, dude. So now you're saying we've got to pat idiots down because they don't know how to behave? I'm sorry, Frankie. You want to be lazy and excuse those morons? No, I'm not doing that. Okay? So I don't know what it was, the Siege, Vice City, Southern Legion. I don't know who was involved. I'm not blaming any of those groups because I don't know which one of them were involved. And maybe the four idiots weren't part of any of those groups. They were just there in the end zone having fun with them. But the bottom line is there is no excuses for that behavior. You don't blame Inter Miami because they don't pat you down. And if they run you through a metal detector, it's not going to pick it up because it's not metal, the Roman candle. How did they get explosives in a professional sports stadium? Well, remember, a Roman candle, I don't think has any metal in it, so it's not going to set off any detectors. And they don't pat you down. So you can put it in your, in pockets, if you have, whatever, pockets with pants with large pockets, or put it right in your underwear and it'll hold up until you get inside. It's not a big deal. Now what? We need to pat people down? I mean, that's just, ridiculous. Explain liability to those who don't know. Well, if I have to explain you're too stupid, you shouldn't even watch this show. How do you like that, Nate Mandu? Okay, if they're too stupid to understand liability, I can't help you. I don't know if it was Vice City. I'm not going to blame Vice City or the Siege or Southern Legion. I'm not blaming any of them. I don't know who the hell. All I know is if they threw out four idiots, those four idiots should never be allowed back into the stadium. That's it. Because if you're that stupid to do that there, then you're putting other people at risk. Thanks for the smuggling tips, Big O. Well, I'm a smuggler. Big time smuggler. I knows how to smugglers. I'm into smugglers. That's all I can tell you. Let's talk a little bit about Cutter's Edge Pro. We love talking about Will. And let me tell you something. We are going to be hanging out with Will tomorrow at Cutter's Edge Pro. Yeah, baby. William Quigley and company. They do a great job. And folks, again, this weekend I was hanging out in our backyard, having some fun, playing a little golf. And daughter came over. We were playing cornhole also, which is cool. Dogs out there. I tell you, the artificial turf is the greatest thing that I've ever added to this home. If you own dogs, you saw Ziggy there. Well, we have a whole bunch of dogs in our house. And so we love our artificial turf. So easy to maintain, saving you thousands in the long run because you're not watering the grass or cutting it. You're not bringing any dirt into the house. Your dogs aren't bringing any dirt or mud into the house because there's no dirt or mud to bring in. It's a beautiful thing, man. You got to check it out for yourself. And not only that, we got a little putting green also in our backyard. So I'm able to work on the short game there with the wife and have some fun. Really cool thing, man. That Cutter's Edge Pro. And you can do the same thing. We got all kinds of trees and everything, which brings a lot of shade to the backyard, cools down. By the way, the artificial turf for the dogs, just so you'll know, they put a little white sand inside and it just cuts the temperatures in half. So really, the artificial turf is never too hot for your dogs. Which, of course, for those of us that have dogs, you know how it is. We treat them like kids. They're just like an extension of our family, pretty much. Those of us that own dogs, we don't even call them dogs. We call them like they're our kids. That's kind of the way we treat, dogs. They're really personal, to us. And I'm sure you look at it the same way. And by the way, you pay mortgage for your entire home. So why not bring the entire home to life by bringing that backyard to life? Ours was dead. We never used it. We only had the dogs go out there and do their business. Now we're out there hanging out, having some fun, barbecuing, just sitting down, enjoying cool evenings and talking and all that kind of stuff, hanging out with the dogs and all that, man. It's really, really cool. So I'm telling you, call the folks at Cutter's Edge Pro. They are your total landscape solution. They do it all. Lawns to landscape maintenance, from medium to large HOAs, condominiums, corporate parks, large commercial building complexes in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. So they cover all of South Florida. Please call William or Mike, 954-472-0622. Save it on that cell phone, 954-472-0622. Go to the Instagram page, Cutter's Edge Pro, so you can see all the kind of work that they do. I mean, it is as thorough as it gets, folks, and your house is going to be taken to the next level. And remember, once you add landscaping, the value to your home also just skyrockets. Go to cuttersedgepro.com. Check it out on Instagram and tell them that Big O sent you. 954-472-0622. Right. Love Cutter's Edge Pro. We got to, by the way, at the top of the hour, we're gonna talk to Andy Behrens. We'll talk about the playoffs and what's coming up. So we'll get into that. We'll get into a little draft talk and those kind of things over the next couple of months here with Andy and Scott. So it's going to be a lot of NFL talk, actually, as we get you ready for next season, whether it's regular or fantasy, whatever. But it's going to be kind of, football talk pretty much with the guys coming up here at noon. Remember, we get Andy Mondays at noon with our Sports Grill segment, and then on Fridays at noon with Scott Pianowski. All right. Nate Mandu says, in the past 10 years, I've been to CFB and NCAA men's games that had metal detectors and soft pat downs, along with raise your coat checks and limits to clear bags only. Yeah, some of them do that. I don't see any patting. Nobody pats. That's a bunch of crap. Nate Mandu. Okay. I haven't been to a game where they ever patted you. Do they put the wand? Yes. Nobody pats you. So I'm not sure where you've been, but I have not been to a sporting event or a concert where they pat you. Okay? That does not happen. They have the wand. You may get patted in an airport, if you rang the bell or, the alarm or something, but they don't pat you in those sporting events. Are you kidding me, dude? They got thousands and thousands of people. They ain't patting anybody. Please. I don't know where was it Folsom Prison? Was it somebody performing there? Johnny Cash Jr. or something? So UK basketball games with soft pat during down during winter. Yeah. I don't know what they got. I don't know what they got in Kentucky, but yeah, they must have some dirty ass people over there in Kentucky. Here in Miami, they don't pat you down anywhere. They don't pat you down in sporting events. Okay? Maybe 9/11, fresh off of 9/11, and we were all at ultra paranoid levels. But I go to a lot of concerts. There's no pat downs. There's a wand. But there's and concerts, no pat downs. Nobody touches you, bro. That's not. Frankie goes, they don't pat at Of course they don't. They don't pat at Dolphin games. They don't pat at Heat games. They don't pat at Panther games. They don't pat at concerts. Please give me a break, dude. There's a wand, and a wand ain't going to get a Roman candle because last time I checked, that's all cardboard. I don't think there's any steel involved in any of that stuff. I don't think there's any metals. So there's no padding. I've been to multiple events, including a number of Heat games, and I've never been padded. Yeah, no, that's bullshit, dude. There's no padding. That's crap. That's a lie. Nothing. Two a time. Big O WWE Raw tonight. Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title. Who wins? Well, you know, Bobby Lashley's life has kind of gone a little unhinged at times. Can I go with unhinged, Sean? Is that a proper term at times where Lashley's had some unhinged moments here lately, right? So in theory, I got to go with Austin here because I am going to go with the man that is not really unhinged. I'm going to go with Austin because in theory, he will be, held in check here. So I am going to go Austin Theory over your boy, Sean Stanley. Am I right there, Sean? Do I get a thumbs up or I got a thumbs up for Austin Theory. There you go. You see? Austin Theory over Mr. Lashley for the U.S. title. Okay? Nobody knows wrestling like I do. Nobody breaks it down like I do. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. All right. What else do we have going on? We'll get into a couple of things here. Hour number 3 is ready to go. Andy Behrens is locked and loaded from Yahoo Sports. We're going to get into a lot of football talk, a lot of playoff talk with what happened yesterday. We'll get his thoughts also. The Miami Dolphins are searching for a defensive coordinator. We'll see if he's got any thoughts on who they should go after. All right, let's get ready for hour number 3 with Andy Behrens with our Sports Grill look around the NFL.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at Caneswear.com or InterMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Sentiments or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. PPR, Draft, Keeper, Dynasty. It's the Sports Grill, Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Andy Behrens. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Andy Behrens.
There he is, locked and loaded. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I'm good. The division round maybe wasn't quite as fun as the wild card round. Never is. The wild card round is about as good as it gets as a sports weekend. I don't know, in the entire calendar year, but it's a fun set of games. Really impressed by at least one of the losers in Jacksonville. I'd feel like if I were a Jacksonville fan, I couldn't wait for let's get to August. Let's get to camp. Let's run this back. I'd be super excited. Other than that, I think we have the 4 best teams. Not really sure what happened to Buffalo at the end, but it's going to be a great, the championship games are just going to be outstanding.
I talked a little bit about this before you came on. I think Buffalo is mismanaged, is what I think it is. I think they allow the quarterback to play too loose. I think they go for too many big throws. I don't think they check down nearly enough. They don't commit to the run. And if you're the head coach and you're the offensive coordinator, I'm not sure how you could be happy watching Josh Allen run into 3-4 defenders and try to take them all on and taking all these hits. One of the reasons why at least the other Bills teams made it to the Super Bowl on a consistent basis and they were much more consistent threat, it's because they had a guy named Thurman Thomas, who really brought balance to everything that they did, because he was that dual threat as a running back and as a wide receiver. And they just do not commit to the run, and their most impactful runner is the quarterback. And how could you be happy with that? Because have you not watched Cam Newton get broken down eventually? Are you not watching Jalen Hurts, who's just fresh coming back from an injury, and Justin Fields going out with an injury, and Lamar Jackson's missed 10 games in the last 2 years now with injuries? This is something that I just think that the Bills are mismanaged is what I see. And the coach and the coordinator and the front office, they better figure out a way to bring more balance, because your meal ticket's going to end up breaking down eventually.
Yeah. Obviously everybody takes some heat after you are one of the, 3 or 4 teams. There's not that many teams in the league each year that can legitimately say, okay, if we don't win a Super Bowl, it's a disappointment. But Buffalo is pretty clearly one of those teams. The coaching staff has enough credentials and has had enough success that I don't think they're particularly vulnerable. I do think that roster has a couple of glaring weaknesses, and you've identified one of them. It was actually one that we talked about a fair amount within the fantasy space, leading into throughout free agency last year and then throughout the draft, right? Is Devin Singletary going to lose all of his fantasy value? Are they going to target a running back? Are they going to get Breece Hall? There was a big, that was one of the potential destinations for Breece Hall. The Bills were said to have an interest in him. That I think that probably would have been a smart move. Cook has been good, but he's actually had for what his skill set was supposed to be, he's going to be this great receiving back. He's going to be this, Kevin Falk or whatever. He had some rough moments as a receiver. He actually, I think he looked better as a runner, as a rotational runner, than he necessarily did as a receiver. So they've got some stuff to figure out. They've got a great free agent class of running backs out there, though, right? Saquon's out there, Tony Pollard's out there. Hopefully he gets healthy within a reasonable period of time.
That's a fractured fibula. That's going to hurt him now in free.
Yeah, there's a ton of available running backs. Miles Sanders is available. It's a good draft class, so they have another chance to address that. I also think that they don't, Khalil Shakir made a couple of plays against the Bengals, but they don't have they don't have a number 2 receiver who scares you, right? So if you
they're good receivers, but not well. Gabe Davis is a good player. I like Gabe Davis.
Well, Gabe Davis, by and large, did not pass the test this year. I will say Gabe Davis has some spike weeks where he's
right. You would figure he would be a pretty good number 2.
Yeah, he has some. I think really Gabe Davis is a pretty good number 3. I think he's somebody who obviously he can get deep on you, but he's not like a full route tree guy. He's not a great separator. He's not. He doesn't really have like one trait that you'd say is an elite level trait. He does happen to benefit from the fact that, you know, he's in a good offense tied to a good quarterback with Stephon Diggs on the field. So it's not like Gabe Davis is ever going to receive maximum attention from anyone. But he goes quiet in a lot of games, and he was quiet against the Bengals, right? Had an opportunity to make a pretty big play that he couldn't haul in. He's a guy that, you know, like his bad games are really bad. We remember, you know, the multiple touchdowns, the 200 yards against Kansas City. He's just a wide range of outcomes guy. And you need, you know, if they have Super Bowl aspirations, it would sure be nice to have a second receiver who's just a lock for 1,000 yards, you know, steady 65, 75 catches, 1,000 yards. I know what I'm going to get from you each week. And like the Bengals have 3 of those guys, and you know, the Bills have Diggs, and then they hope to find it from somebody else, and it's somebody different each week. And so I think that's really something that they could address as well.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing because for them, that's the thing that Buffalo, you know, and listen, I hope this continues, but your window's only for a certain amount of time. Okay, and you got to be careful.
The AFC is so hard too, right? Like Josh Allen can have an incredible career and never get to the Super Bowl because he's got to deal with a decade of Joe Burrow and a decade of Patrick Mahomes, and like the Dolphins are set up for success. And by the way, the Jaguars are coming, man. I don't know. Trevor Lawrence is going to get to a Super Bowl someday.
Hold on a second. You were saying that about the Jags. I'm feeling that for our Dolphins.
Yeah. No, I'm absolutely with you. There's not a team in the league that has a better wide receiver duo than the Dolphins. They're another team they're probably gonna have a great patch at running back this year, given the number of options. Like I think the Dolphins are set up for success as well. I'm just saying the AFC's hard. Like the AFC's an almost impossible problem, and there's no shame in losing in the division round. Given the players that you've got to deal with, like Joe Burrow's never going to be an easy out, and Patrick Mahomes is never going to be an easy out, and those problems aren't going away.
Yeah, and by the way, Pittsburgh, their young quarterback's going to get better next year. Now he got better towards the end of the year. He was getting through the fire. And
Big O, I can't believe they held on to Matt Canada. I don't understand it. There was not a less interesting offense in the league this year. There was not an offense that I don't know, like that was easier to read. They have a dynamic playmaker in George Pickens, and they gave him 5 targets a game. Like they just made weird choices all season. Maybe this is in the best interest of Kenny Pickett to just give him the same voice to listen to one year after another. But
maybe they kept it simple for the rookie to kind of get him through the year, and then you start adding to his responsibilities. And I think that's when you start to expand the playbook, you know, overall. Pickens is a hell of a player, by the way.
Pickens is a hell of a player who they only ever targeted like 5 times a game. I'll never understand it. Like that should have been an easy thing to do with Kenny Pickett, right? He likes to go deep. He didn't do it necessarily all that well all season, but he likes to do it. You know, anytime Pickens has a one-on-one, man, I can't imagine not lobbing it up to him.
So yeah, you're right. The AFC is absolutely loaded, and so that's where I think that, you know, the Bills are kind of playing with fire, because all of a sudden now, I think the Dolphins have completely closed the gap. All you have to do is look at the 3 games, even completely injury-riddled and with their third quarterback. They almost won that game, you know, which is nuts. And then the Jets, they're pretty damn good. They'll get Breece Hall back, and if they do get like a Derek Carr type or a Jimmy Garoppolo,
what if they get Aaron Rodgers? Like, what if they get Aaron Rodgers? How good is the AFC then? You know?
Oh yeah, no. If they get Aaron, I just don't know if anybody's going to get Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know,
because of the cap ramifications for them, and then they're going to ask for the world also on top of all of that. and then you've got to have.
I don't even know if the Aaron Rodgers of today can tell you what the Aaron Rodgers 2 months from now is going to want to do either, right? So like he's a huge variable as well.
He would have done a lot of shrooms from now till 2 months from now, and so you just don't know what he's thinking after a couple of dosages of the shrooms. You know what I'm saying? Yep. By the way, I just saw this come across the wire here. Cruel World, Saturday, May 20th in Pasadena, California. Susie and the Banshees, Iggy Pop, Billy Idol, Love and Rockets, Echo and the Bunnymen, Adam Ant, The Human League, Gary Newman, Modern English.
That's amazing.
ABC, The Vapors, we're turning Japanese, The Motels, and Emotion. Holy crap, dude.
This is a single show or festival? What is this?
Yeah, it's in Pasadena. Just
Big O,
one day.
I'm going to see Iggy Pop in Chicago at a relatively small venue in March. I'm so excited about it. I haven't seen him since I saw him in the 80s with the Ramones. It was incredible. And I can't believe he's still performing. Can't believe he's still with us. Talk about a guy who's lived a life. But
now remember, he's got a new rule now. No more crowd surfing. He's too old, he says. He can't do the crowd. So at like 80 years old, he's decided not to do crowd surfing.
maybe he'll send out a designated crowd surfer. I don't know. It wouldn't be the same.
No matter how wrinkled he is, he'll take off his shirt. That's for damn sure.
That guy was cut like in the, I don't know. I probably saw him in like 1988, 1989. That guy
yeah. But now he's a little older, and so it's like Billy Idol does the same thing. It's like, yo, Billy, you're not that guy anymore. Don't do that, bro. You look like me now. No, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. But that's a hell of a show right there. Anybody that loves 80s music, damn, that's a hell amazing. Of a show. That's a hell of a show. The Cowboys.
Woof.
No, Mike. Let's leave Mike McCarthy out of this. It's not his fault. He had a crazy ass kicker that, finally figured a couple kicks out yesterday. And then Dak, wow, that was a bad day for Dak. He should have thrown more than 2 interceptions. He looked like the moment was too big for him at times. I got to be honest.
Certainly the Niners defense will speed things up for you, right? And he did not handle that well at all. And you are so right. He deserved the 2 interceptions he threw. He could have finished the game with 3 or 4. That would not have been much of a shock. CeeDee Lamb had a heroic game, made some tremendous catches, but Dak was just like a beat off with almost everybody else, right? Like he was throwing behind people. He was throwing late. He missed that throw to Gallup that could have been a game changer because that game was right there the whole time. And Dallas's defense was tremendous. It just, that thing ends, and we've built up a sort of myth of Dak Prescott a little bit, I think, because of the circumstances in which he came into the league, right, and took hold of that starting job. He might just be a guy who, especially after the injury, and there's not really a running component to his game anymore. Not that
he's a pocket passer.
That was a huge part of it before, but like when they would get inside the 10-yard line, Dak was definitely a threat to house it. And I don't think that's there. So now is he just another of these like Derek Carr-ish quarterbacks? I think he might be. Like he could be the quarterback of a team that plays in a Super Bowl, but I don't know that Dak Prescott is ever going to be the guy that, just flat out wins you 3 games in the playoffs.
Right.
He needs an awful lot around him, and they all of a sudden, they've got questions. They've got a second receiver problem themselves. Schultz, a free agent, Tony Pollard, a free agent, Zeke Elliott making $1 billion and not, he's certainly not vintage Zeke. He's fine, but he doesn't, he's not a back who is currently earning that paycheck. So they got a bunch of issues, and they kind of have the quarterback position. It's filled. I don't know if it's a true asset, especially at the money they've spent.
I don't buy him. I see him as you better have a Trent Dilfer Bucks team around him. You better have, a Trent Dilfer Ravens team around them. You better have the 16 Broncos around. Like Peyton Manning couldn't throw more than 10 yards that year. That's the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl right there, that Peyton Manning. You better have those kind of teams where
I think you better build a wall around him, right? Like he's
Right,
got to have
yeah.
a lot of time, and he's got to have at
Yes.
least 2 great receivers. You know, like
Yeah.
if we're Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, and I've got the world's best offensive line, okay. Like a lot of guys would succeed in those circumstances, and I think Dak is one of them, right? But I think he just belongs to that tier of quarterback that needs all those things. You know, Joe Burrow doesn't need those things. Joe Burrow can lose 3 linemen, good linemen, and he's a wizard, right? Like even Joe Burrow's incompletions yesterday were better than Dak's completions. He was incredible. Like he's just not there.
I tweeted out a picture last night when we were watching that, said ball placement is everything, kids. And it just shows the guy, and he dropped the ball, but where he put it is where the only place that he could catch it, and it was just not on Joe Burrow.
Was it the Jamar Chase near touchdown?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Such a brilliant throw. Incredible throw. Incredible non-catch too. Like the non-catch was pretty good as well, but just phenomenal ball placement. Yeah, he's unbelievable when he gets rolling. And he can do it. He doesn't need both feet under him either. Like he can do it on the move. He can move up in the pocket. Like he can 1-foot it. That guy's so good.
All right. So Dak Prescott, not a believer, or you're not a believer either, unless he's going to need everything. In other words,
if we're saying is he franchise? You don't believe he's franchise. Well, if we're saying is he a superstar that just elevates everybody around him, I don't think he's there. I think he's much closer to Derek Carr than he is, you know, the guys who really belong to that, you know, we have a chance to win because we have Dak. I wouldn't say that, right? Like you're going to say that about Joe Burrow, you're going to say that about Mahomes, you'll say it about Allen, you'll say it about a bunch of guys. I don't think we're going to be saying that about Dak for the next 5 years.
All right, so the Giants did not pick up the option. So they did not gamble on Daniel. Daniel had to gamble on himself, and he had a pretty good year, but obviously did not produce like he needed to against the Eagles. Where do you stand with Daniel Jones? If you're the Giants and you're Brian Daboll, and you now own New York because everybody is happy with the job you did overall. How can you not be happy with the job that Brian Daboll did overall? If you're Brian Daboll, do you stay on the Daniel Jones bandwagon because that's going to get you to the next level as a head coach? Or do you say, this is my fork in the road, I need to go in another direction?
I don't think there's anything that Daniel Jones could have done to get him past the Eagles. Like to me, that is a situation where like
if they just play better than what you did is my point. Not really.
If they play 20 times, I think the Eagles win 19. Right? Like I don't think there's a path for the Giants to win that game. And I don't think it's really like they hit him 8 times, they sacked him 5 times. I think Daniel Jones certainly showed enough development, showed enough growth under Daboll, was great the prior week, right? Against a super soft defense. But he also did this without any competent receivers. Like Hodgins, James, Slayton, they're not going to be a part of whatever the Giants are trying to do in the receiving room next year. Like Richie James isn't going to be much of a part of that. Like, well, they had plans for Wan'Dale Robinson. They've spent all this money on Kenny Golladay and got nothing out of it. They had plans for other guys, and it just didn't work out. They gave up on Kadarius Toney. They need to address wide receiver in a big way. They're probably like Daniel Jones showed enough that I think they're probably a destination for any receiver who happens to shake loose. Anybody who's under contract now or coming up on a contract, like I think they're an interesting landing spot. I think you probably have to build on what you just had with Daniel Jones. None of this is to say that I think Daniel Jones is a guy who necessarily elevates your franchise either, but I think he's good enough that he certainly wasn't the problem for the Giants. And they just got mauled. Like both offensive and defensive lines just got absolutely brutalized by Philadelphia. Like those teams are just not even close in the trenches. They didn't get a hit on Jalen Hurts, right? Like I mean that was just Philly's offensive line being dominant and their defensive line being dominant, and the Giants having very little chance.
All right, so what do you got in the NFC Championship game? Niners?
Oh, man. Yeah, if I had to bet it, and I think the line opened at only with the Eagles only as a 2-point favorite, I would definitely have the Eagles. I thought the Eagles were phenomenal. Obviously, the Niners are a much greater challenge, and they've got far greater skill position players than what the Eagles just faced. But I think that was the full realization of Philadelphia's offense and Philadelphia's defense. And I can easily imagine the Niners having another game in which they, what did they score against Dallas? Was it like 19 points, right? Like I don't know that they're going to put up a big number against Philly. And I think Philly can put up a big number against anybody. So
by the way, you got to give Purdy a little credit because he has to manage the game and that's all they ask him to do. But he'll make some tough throws on third downs. He will help you convert and keep your drive alive. And
he's also great. He's been great when things descend into chaos. He's been really good, right? Like not even just this past week, but the week prior, like. And it's so strange to say about like our rookie third string quarterback, but when things went haywire and he would, turn his back to the line of scrimmage and spin away from trouble and then, get flushed, you were like, they're scoring, like you just have all this confidence that Brock Purdy's going to find the right guy. And he would there's Christian McCaffrey. Oh, there's George Kittle on a total impromptu play. And he's, that's the difference between winning and losing at the highest level in that sport. A lot of the time is like, how good are you when,
chaos,
when things absolutely break down and you have to make a play, because everybody at this stage of the game should be good from structure, right? Like everybody's good when everything goes according to script. But how good are you when things break down?
That's in fact, that's what I've said for many years on this show is that's how I measure my quarterback is in chaos. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that, like Ryan Tannehill, he is actually terrific on script. Yeah. Everybody's doing their job and he'll deliver the ball. He can be a good game manager for you. You know what I mean? That he has that in him. But if the initial play breaks down and then all of a sudden now you've got to ad lib a little bit. Now that's when his brain goes scatter and it's done. And that's when he starts to make his mistakes, and that's all you got to do. If everything's on script, you got a shot with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as your team's really good around him, he can manage. And I saw that in him, but I never saw like franchise guy in him because in chaos, that's when that's what happened to him last year when he threw the 3 interceptions.
Turnover waiting to happen. Yeah.
Because it's chaos. You know what I mean? And that's some of the things that I've waited several weeks to keep seeing this kid in these kind of moments. And sometimes you're just on a roll and you make the right rate. But that as you continue to do this, that just shows you something, man, and that's a pretty good defense too that he was facing that can pressure people.
Best he's seen. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I give him a lot of credit because he made a lot of tough throws. And to me, that's where I give that kid respect on those tough throws, especially those third downs.
Can we just give a nod to Chad Henne? Like the one drive that Chad Henne had went 98
mostly
yards.
Running. There was one large run and all that, but yeah.
I mean, like that punt was really good.
Another
pinned him at the 2. First play, they come out in shotgun. We've got Chad Henne like 4 or 5 yards deep in the end zone, his own end zone, and he leads them on a 98-yard scoring drive, 12-play scoring drive. That was unbelievable. Yeah. We'll never see Chad Henne again. Like we may never see him in the NFL again. That's the way he's going to go out. That was absolutely incredible.
Hey man, great coaching always helps too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if you're a backup quarterback. If your coach has prepared you, and that's where Shanahan and company have to get a lot of credit for Purdy, that they have prepared their young quarterback and given him an opportunity to succeed. So mad props. All right. What do you got working on Yahoo this week?
Yeah, we're still cranking out the podcast, the Yahoo Fantasy Football Forecast. I'm recording that in another 3 minutes here, so looking forward to it, breaking down all the playoff games and previewing the ones ahead.
All right, good stuff. Next week we'll be in the Senior Bowl, so we'll have some fun out there and start working on the draft. All right,
follow you got a Bears coach there. I think you got Luke Getsy there coaching one of those sides.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Behrens and catch his work there at Yahoo Sports. Andy, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Big O. Appreciate it.
You got it. There you go. Andy Behrens, baby. Appreciate him immensely. Sports Grill, by the way, 8 great locations. Today is Monday. $7 single smash burger. Tomorrow, Tuesday, $2 tacos, chicken, beef, or fish. And on Wednesdays, the kids eat free with the purchase of an adult entree. So what are you waiting for? We got 8 great locations now. Used to be 7, but now we've got the 8th great location. It's the 8th wonder of the world, the Doral location. You know, some people used to call the Astrodome the 8th wonder of the world. Well, now we call Sports Grill in Doral the 8th wonder of the world. So you should go visit the 8th wonder and the 8th location of Sports Grill. Go to sportsgrill.com.
You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Andy Behrens. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. Fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens.
All right. So, did you guys see the news on Lamar Jackson? So Lamar Jackson, apparently reports say, Ryan Clark put this out, he wants the 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed deal that Deshaun Watson got. But according to Ryan Clark, the Ravens have only gone as high as $133 million guaranteed. Now, think about this. Kyler Murray got $189 million guaranteed and Russell Wilson $161 million guaranteed. Now, this young man has missed 10 games the last 2 years. Can't win from the pocket. It's going to be interesting. They're going to tag him. I wonder if he is going to be willing to play on that tag. It is a lot of money for that 1 year, but will he want the total of the guaranteed money, and how long will this be a problem? And if I like I told you, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, this ended up becoming a blessing in disguise because it kind of set him back now. But the fact that he doesn't have an agent, it's just going to cloud the whole situation. It's going to make it really, really tough. I hope they, for their sake, they come up with a backup plan just in case he does hold out, because I can almost see him holding out now. Okay, for that fully guaranteed, which he's not going to get because, you know, just because the Cleveland Browns are stupid doesn't mean that the rest of the league should be stupid. But here's the problem. When you're the Browns and you do a stupid contract like that, you force the hand of everybody else. Just like when John Gruden got that crazy contract from the Raiders, guess what? Now it became the norm. Now everybody's getting paid John Gruden money now, and even more depending on who you are. Because look at Sean Payton. He's looking for $20 to $25 million per year. So it sets a precedent, and then it creates a problem. And the Cleveland Browns have set a precedent and created a problem because of their stupid desperation as a franchise. And I'm sure every owner was cringing when they gave Deshaun Watson all that guaranteed money, which it was going to create a problem down the line with other contracts. Now, most agents might be saying, we understand that this was an aberration. But Lamar's not represented by an agent. So it's him and his mom, and they're looking at it going, no, well, we deserve. We've done more than Deshaun Watson. We've gone farther, and it's all true. But again, giving a running quarterback that's missed 10 games the last 2 years all that money, ooh, doggy, that's very risky. And they're certainly not going to give him a fully guaranteed contract because nobody deserves that kind of contract. Deshaun Watson just was lucky at the right place at the right time with the right franchise that was incredibly stupid and desperate. Stupid and desperate do stupid things. All right, let's get to it, baby. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins, a little NFL with Marcel Louis-Jacques, baby. Let's get the edge.
Time to get the edge on the Miami Dolphins with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report. When you want the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste, you can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. ESPN Dolphin insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All right. There he is. How you feeling, man? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good, man. I can't believe this is week two of 40 for the offseason, right? Like not around 40 until the season starts.
That's true, actually.
It's
It's
a lot, man. It's a lot.
But
I'm good.
We'll have a lot of things to talk about because the NFL always gives us a lot of things to talk about already as it is. Look, defensive coordinators. So apparently they've already asked for Sean Desai permission to talk to the assistant head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, Fangio's been thrown out there, and Jerome Henderson and Chris Korasak and Ejiro Evero and all that kind of stuff. So what are you hearing for the Dolphins at defensive coordinator?
It is air freaking tight in this building right now, man. There's a reason why there's not a whole lot of legitimate rumors flying around. There's not a whole lot of legitimate scoops flying around. They're not talking. This organization is not talking. I was told from last year that Vic Fangio was Mike McDaniel's preferred defensive end. Like way last year, retaining Boyer was a matter of keeping continuity and showing I can be a team player. I can work with everybody. You know, I don't have to just come here and bogart my guys into the building. Like I can work with people. So that's long lasting interest. I think we're kind of waiting to hear from Vic. Fangio is unpredictable as is, and to the best of my knowledge, has not taken any defensive coordinator interviews yet. So like it's going to be kind of a slow drip here. I think the world is sort of waiting for that first pin to fall, which is the biggest pin of all, Sean Payton. Got a second interview with Broncos coming up. I think that Dolphins fans, if you want Fangio here, you should probably be rooting for Sean Payton to go to Denver because there's not a world. In what world is, I don't care if it's new ownership. I don't care if it's in what world are you going to go back to the job that fired you at a lesser position? If the Charlotte Observer offered me a job, they didn't fire me, but the Charlotte Observer offered me a job and said, "Hey, we want you to cover traffic. We want you to cover arts and entertainment." I feel like I kept the lights on in that building. No, I'm not going to go do that. You know, not exactly an A to A comparison, but you know what I'm saying. You're not going back to an old job.
And dude, you're Vic Fangio. 10 teams will hire you to be their defensive coordinator. So
exactly.
It's not like you're going to struggle for a job or anything. And when you're Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator, okay, not a head coach, defensive coordinator. So, I'm with you there. I don't think Denver is the spot. I don't think Peyton. I think they're using Denver's money for leverage. Is what?
Yeah, I don't think it's not a hand in glove fit. It's not a hand in glove fit over there.
He doesn't need to go there to resurrect Russell Wilson's career, bro. And I don't see him butting heads with the little man in Arizona. What's his name?
What,
Kyler Murray. There is no way Kyler Murray could handle Sean Payton. No freaking way. He comes off the field screaming at him like he did to Cliff Kingsbury. Sean Payton will knock his ass out right there on the field. Okay, with those big ass arms with the old man strength and big ass arms of his. So those two don't fly. I think it's all Houston and Carolina. I think for Sean, I think it's just leverage the other ones.
Those make the most. Houston and Carolina make the most sense. If you want to be, think about Sean Payton wasn't necessarily like he wants to build an entire program. He doesn't want to take credit. Or, he doesn't want there to be any conversation, any confusion about whose team, whose roster it is. You go to Denver, that roster is set. You got no movement. You got no flexibility. That roster is what it is. You're locked into your quarterback. You're locked into your top 2 or 3 receivers. You're locked into your I think they even signed Garrett Bowles. You're locked into your left tackle. You're locked into your running back. Like all you're doing is you're just taking something that somebody else did and then putting your spin on it. I don't think that's how Sean Payton wants to roll. I don't think he's moving a I don't think he's moving on from a lucrative television job to ride on somebody's coattails. Houston, man, it's a big clay lump on one of those rotating things. I don't know what they're called. You can shake that
ton of picks. You got two in the top 12 this year. You don't even, and you could probably negotiate where you give up your first rounder down the line the next year. You may even be able to keep the one here this year instead. And you got $40 million of cap space. And in Carolina, you may not have as many picks as draft capital because obviously Houston's made some trades, but you still have pretty decent cap space, and you have defensive players, and you have a couple of offensive weapons. You don't have the QB. That's what you got to fix, just like Houston. But I love the potential for those two instead of the baggage that you have to inherit in the other spots.
I'll tell you what, though, too. If I've heard that the Vic and Peyton tag team is a little overblown, but if they were going to team up anywhere, Carolina is dangerous. And like you didn't mention, easy division.
Both of them, Houston and Carolina, easy division.
The Bucks, the Saints, and the Saints, and the Falcons have no future right now. When you look at those teams, you see washed up teams and one that's trying to rebuild in Atlanta and overachieved a little bit this year in Atlanta. But Vic Fangio with Brian Burns, with Jeremy Chin, with Derek Brown, the kid from Auburn they drafted a few years back, with Shaq Thompson, with J.C. Horn. Come on, man, that is a dangerous team. Houston, I think, has some pieces with Stingley and the safety Petrie, I think his name is.
Their thing is cap space and draft picks. They have a shit ton of draft picks. So that's where it helps him, because you're going to have to trade a draft pick to get him. So at least that will hurt Carolina a lot more than it'll hurt Houston, because Houston has a lot more. So that's kind of the give and take. But to me, I think Denver, he's not going to work for the Bidwells, but for the Denver, I think he's just using that Walmart money for leverage. So, okay. And Tepper's got a shitload of money in Carolina, and the Houston owner also has money too. So it's not like it's not like you're dealing with either the Bidwells or Spanos with the Chargers. You're not, or maybe even Mike Brown with the Bengals. You're not dealing with cheap owners in that sense. So that's actually a good thing for him. Dude, he wants 20 to 25 million. All right. So having said that, then Fangio's off the list. Let's be honest. So what do you think happens now? Because Fangio's going to go probably with Sean, because they're not going to Denver. So we kind of made that. Okay. So let's say Fangio's off the list. We all know that would be the guy because, dude, he's the most established defensive coordinator that's available. So who's the next guy? Who's the guy that you say, this might be a sexy pick for the Miami Dolphins at defensive coordinator?
It would depend on, so if, let's pretend that Vic Fangio for some reason does want to go to Denver, or Sean Payton goes to Denver and he brings in his own defensive coordinator. That means Ejiro Evero is on the market. That's a home run. That's a home run pick. If you see what he's done with that defense, obviously familiarity with Bradley Chubb. He's got experience in coaching a dynamite secondary like they have over there in Denver. That would be a home run hit. So that's where I think
that's Fangio disciple, right? He's a Fangio disciple.
Yeah, that's where I think it would be. That's where I think this process is better off being kind of a slow drip, where I say like that Sean Payton domino has to fall because he goes to Denver, he brings his own staff. That's a diamond in the rough. That's a guy who might get head coaching consideration this year. If you can get him to make a lateral move to Miami because he's looking for a job, home run hit. Desai wasn't the coordinator in what's it called? Wasn't the coordinator in Seattle, but he does have coordinator experience. He was the DC he's a DC in Chicago, coach safeties for Chicago, spent a lot of time with the Bears, respected throughout the league. He's got that experience again that Dolphins fans are saying that they want. They don't want a guy who was an assistant. They want an established coordinator here. So, and that makes the most sense, right? Because this team's built to win right now. This isn't a rebuilding team. This is a team that's loading for a Super Bowl run. Like, you're not thinking, okay, 3-4 years down the line, we can develop a staff like we develop it. Nah, bro. It's time to win. That defense is built to win. You got a couple pieces that you need missing. Re-sign Wilkins, figure out a second cornerback, and then get a linebacker, get an off-ball linebacker. And that defense is ready to go. The defense is ready to go. And we don't even know what Channing Tindall's development is going to be this offseason. Maybe the light bulb turns on for him, for all we know. If that doesn't turn on, that's massive because of his speed. When you watch the 49ers last night, the reason why the 49ers defense is so awesome is not necessarily because of Nick Bosa. It's not necessarily because of Talanoa Hufanga. It's because Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are sideline to sideline in every sense of the word. You saw, bro, did you see Fred Warner turn and burn with CeeDee Lamb come across the field to get?
He has a lot of the Derek Brooks qualities in him. And that's why he can drop back quickly, and that's why he can run sideline to sidelines. And that was when you have linebackers like that, and that's what Miami doesn't have. They don't have people in the middle that can really roam like that and have the athleticism.
No,
that's a freakish ability to be able to do what Fred does, because it reminds me a lot of what I told you, Derek Brooks. Derek Brooks was able to do those kind of things in that Tampa 2 defense, because it's very important when you're running those kind of defenses that your linebackers are able to cover a lot of ground. If they don't, brother, it's going to be a long-ass day, and they're going to work the middle of the field on your ass.
Yeah, and the Dolphins got 8 up over the middle of the field this year in those short, quick completions this year because they got thumpers. They got thumpers at linebacker. Let's be honest. Like, they got run-stopping linebackers. And Landon Roberts is he's a high IQ. He's an high IQ football player. If you notice, he's always in the vicinity. He's always there. He's just a step too slow or a step too late. But he knows what's going on.
Lord blessed him with all the ability except that killer athleticism that he needs. And that's why he's a 2-down linebacker, because he's really that's what he's supposed to be. Both him and Ingram, they're not really players that you allow them to get caught up in the open field, because that happens. That's when they're cooked. Now, if you keep them down to the line of scrimmage, that's where they excel. They can get stops, for losses of yards, and they can get some sacks, and they can get some pressures. They do a great job. And Landon Roberts had a hell of a year, dude. I mean, and Ingram really helped out, but they help you in their areas. They're not complete players. It's not their fault. It's your fault as a front office that you didn't get enough people that can, do that job that you need there right now. And that's why you had limitations on defense.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think Channing Tindall, if Channing Tindall develops this offseason, it would be massive. It would be massive for the Dolphins. It'd fill a huge need. There's a reason why they drafted him. Also, I see Jason Roberts is 30. I don't think Landon Roberts is 30. I'm 30. And I think I found out this year that I'm older than Landon Roberts. I think Landon Roberts is 27 or 28. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Which, I mean, is
look it up there, Sean, for me. But Lyle John's got a great selection in Lovie Smith for defensive coordinator. And follow me on this. This is what I like. You tell me Ejiro Evero or Sean Desai, and you're telling me these are young guys that are not here for a long time. If they excel, they're already going to be making the next move to try to be a head coach. I mean, one of them already that you're interviewing is a assistant head coach already as it is. So I just think that you're getting a young guy to then have a problem a year or two down the line to have to replace him. If you could get a Lovie Smith or a Vic Fangio, you might just keep them around for 4 or 5 years so they could kind of finish out their careers and their exceptional mind. Let me tell you something. Lovie did a hell of a job in Houston. I don't care what anybody tells me. Watch the games. Watch the defense. They lost a whole bunch of people, and they were still competitive a lot of times. They were limited as hell, and they lost the games that they're supposed to lose and all that good stuff. But if you watch them, At times they were competitive, and that's because of Lovie Smith. And that's where I give Lovie some credit. I think Lovie is an exceptional defensive coordinator. He's kind of Wade Phillips like, you know, you want him running your defense, but I'm not so sure about being a head coach. You know what I mean? But Lovie is interesting because you could keep him here for several years. He won't really be going for that head coaching job anymore.
Yeah, but here's my thoughts on that. A friend of mine from back in college, we were having this sort of conversation when Arizona State was hiring.
By the way, Roberts is 28, they're saying, so you were right.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I knew, because I thought he was older too, because he talks like he's been around for a decade. He acts like he's been around for a decade. Like, I thought he was a seasoned vet. Not that 28 isn't seasoned, but like, I thought man's been around for, years. I was surprised. I was like, dang, I'm just getting to that age though.
You thought he was John Jenkins. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, I'm just getting, but it's also on me because I'm just getting to that age where I walk into a locker room and I'm older than like 80% of the guys in it. I'm just getting there. So I'm still, coping with that. But
I'm older than most coaches and front office executives. All right, go ahead.
While Arizona State was looking for a head coach, I remember, I forget who. I think it was when Kevin Sumlin was leaving Houston, and I'd said something along the lines of like Sumlin would be cool, I guess, but he's just gonna like leave for a bigger job after a couple years. Obviously, Sumlin would have been a crap hire, but my friend Ben tells me, he's like, think about it this way. One of two things are going to happen. Either he's going to come here and he's going to suck, he's going to be fired, and we're right back where we are now. Or he comes here, and if he gets another job offer, goes to a bigger school, that means he did such a good job at Arizona State that our program is going to be in position that we can hire a better quality candidate next cycle. Same concept here. Let's say Evero he takes a head coaching job after 3 years. Let's say Desai takes a head coaching job after 2 or 3 years. That means that the Dolphins defense is playing at such a high level that an NFL team is willing to eschew the offensive-minded guys that like we're seeing time and time again now, and say that guy was so damn good. This defense is so damn good that we want him running the whole show. And then other candidates, the hot candidates that we don't even know about 3 years from now, are going to say, I can slide in here. I can make a tweak here, and here, but this is a championship caliber defense. I don't have to go in there and reinvent the wheel. So you're in if you lose a guy to a head coaching job, like you have such a better product to sell than you did before that guy got there. It only gets better. So I don't think that should deter any interest in a coordinator, because I mean ultimately that's what a coordinator does, right? Like a coordinator wants to be a head coach at the end of the day.
Right. Well, I'll counter you with this. I'd rather go Lovie Smith because of the aforementioned. He ain't going to go pretty much anywhere. You can keep him for several years. 2, you got a very young head coach that's got a lot to learn. Lovie Smith has been a head coach several times. He's got an encyclopedia of experience. Can you imagine the sounding board that he can be for Mike McDaniel? A young guy like Evero or Desai or Kusarek or all those kind of guys, they're 39, 42, 44. Those guys don't have the experience of Lovie, who has been there and done it all. And he could actually provide a lot of insight, a lot of experience to a guy like McDaniel.
I think that's why
John Embry, like that foundational part of it.
I think that's why John Embry is on the roster. Success or not, success notwithstanding, he was a head coach at Colorado. Like he's got more or less that top dog. It's not NFL, but you also
Lovie Smith's got credentials, bro.
But also, I'm not denying that, but I think McDaniel finds a lot of value in that innovation incubator type concept. So because you hear him talk about his formative years back in Washington, with McVay, with Shanahan, with LaFleur. I think Saleh was even on the other side of that ball. Like the things that they could do like it really impacted the trajectory of his career. So like I think he kind of, it's a point of pride to create one of those here in Miami.
I'm with you there. All right, before I let you go, apparently Ryan Clark reported that Lamar Jackson is looking for the same guarantees that Watson has. And apparently the Ravens didn't go any higher than $133 million. I talked about this before you were coming on. $189 million Kyler Murray got, and $161 million that Russell Wilson got. This is a really bad situation because if Baltimore probably will tag him, but because he doesn't have an agent, this is going to get ugly, I think. I hope the Ravens are preparing for a backup plan just in case. How do you think this ends up? Would Lamar Jackson end up playing on the tag, or do you think he's going to stand his ground and wait for that fully guaranteed contract that will not come, because nobody's giving that kind of contract to anybody right now, except somehow they give it to Kirk Cousins. I don't know why, but outside of that, you tell me.
Yeah, they gave it to Kirk Cousins, but Kirk got like, it was like 80 million guaranteed or like 75 guaranteed, 85 guaranteed. I think it was like, yep, it was before
this is his second go round. So he's approaching 100 and some million, 150, 160 by the time all these years go through. He keeps earning 30 million every year at least. And so he's going to be there several years, right? He's going to be there another year or two.
He just signed 1 year, 35, 1 year, 35 million.
How much has he made already?
March. Then he got a 2 year, 66 extension. But okay, I'm talking about the one he signed in 18. That was 3 years, 84 million, and that was, I think, fully guaranteed.
Right, and so he's had 84, and then 3 more years on top of that. Did you just say?
Let me see. What was the 66? How much was guaranteed? The 2 year 66 had it was fully guaranteed. So I mean, yeah, it does add up. You're right. It is add.
He's getting close to $200 million now. He's like at 160, insane. 170 or something like that. So he's the only guy that keeps getting it. But outside that, nobody's going to give a fully guaranteed contract, and they're not going to give it to.
Shout out Mike McCartney, man. That guy that guy can retire just off Kirk Cousins.
I know, dude. Right? I just wish he would have had an agent, because he would have gotten his contract 2 years ago. An agent would have had his deal done after that. I
think eventually, if you're Baltimore, because I mean, we keep seeing Baltimore ceiling right now. Their ceiling it continues to be the divisional round or the wild card round. It's not a conference championship roster right now. So like changes need to be made. They already fired Greg Roman. I think Lamar can run a pro style offense.
By the way, they didn't fire him. He left. He said he left, and he wants to take on new challenges. Yeah, I got to tell you something. I think Greg Roman has had enough of that offense. I think he doesn't want to be David Schwimmer from Friends, or many others that become typecasted in some kind of role. And then that's who they are. That's who they've always been. And so you're Danny Bonaducci or whatever it is. It's happened throughout the history of time. And I think Greg did not want to get penciled into, he's the run guy, offense guy. And I think he wants to find somewhere else where they pass a little bit more. That's just me, but you go ahead.
That reminds me of that meme, that Eric Andre meme, where like you see him like shooting somebody sitting in the chair, and then he turns back to the camera and says, why would something else do this? It was like Greg Roman is shooting this offense in the chair and saying, why would the Ravens do that? Like, you're tired of this offense? You made the offense. You're offensive coordinator.
He had no choice. That's what he has to work with. It is what it is. The quarterback is the quarterback. I mean, it's just
Lamar won a Heisman running Bobby Petrino's offense. Like, he knows how to run a pro style offense. Like, it's not they did it to themselves, man. Like, so often players are typecasted because they have success early in their careers that every coordinator from every coach for the rest of their careers refuses to let them branch out and do something else. Like, for example, John Brown.
He tried to pocket pass this year. He tried. I give him a lot. I give Lamar. He failed, but he tried a lot to stay in the pocket and win from the pocket. I give him a ton of credit. He didn't make the progress. See, go look at the kid in Philadelphia. That mofo, that guy's figuring out his accuracy. That dude is scary. Justin and Lamar still haven't figured out, but Justin's got time. But the kid in Philadelphia, that's a bad mofo right there, bro. That kid has got it right here, bro. That guy's impressive.
Jalen Hurts is nice for sure, but I don't know. I think it might reach a point where what I was getting at is we've seen the ceiling. The Ravens have seen the ceiling.
So
maybe it gets to a point where they say, whatever, let's try to start over. Let's do something. Maybe the Jets offer a boatload of picks. And you say, solves our cap problem, gives us some more money to work with, gives us some more draft capital to work with.
So you're thinking they're going to have to do this because he's not going to play on the tag. Is that what you're thinking? Because that's the feeling I'm getting, that he's going to be like he's a dude that stands his ground. Like he says what he feels. I almost feel like he and his mom are going to say either give me the guaranteed money or we're holding out. And I almost feel like he's really going to do something like that.
That's why I'm saying, like, it completely removes you from the situation. Like it removes you from having to deal with that. And the Jets are one of the teams that are one of the few teams that can stomach that. They can stomach paying a fully guaranteed because they are truly a quarterback away, and most of their impact players are on rookie deals, are on cheap deals. Like, so go get after it. Like, attack it while you can, man. Like, it's the same concept. Like when you have a dominant rookie quarterback or a dominant quarterback on a rookie contract, you go all out in every other facet before you got to pay them, like the Bengals. Same concept goes the other way around. When you have a dominant roster, when your key players are on rookie deals, you can afford to go after a quarterback and spend crazy money. Like I think it works like that. Now, 4 or 5 years down the line, might be a little chop, but hopefully you got a Super Bowl title before then. I think the Jets offer a competitive package for him, and the Ravens say, okay.
All right. So you're looking at the Jets going for Lamar more than Derek. Interesting. All right. By the way, did you have a bad night on Saturday night when they kicked you out for firing Roman candles in the stands there at Inter Miami game? Because I see you wearing
No, man. I've only been to one, dude. That stadium is way too damn far to keep going to all of these. But I wanted a jersey. This one is tired, man. It's got the whole kick childhood cancer.
I like it.
No, I thought it was. But no, me and Haley went to one before she left. So this was September, give or take.
Okay.
August or September. It's crazy. I knew that they were tearing up some golf course to build the new stadium.
Oh, Reese.
I didn't realize it's the golf course right next to the damn airport.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking forward once they actually start. Shoot, I might not even be here by the time they actually start. You know how Miami goes. But I'm sorry, Ray. I live in downtown Miami. You want to drive all the way to Drive Pink Stadium to watch Inter Miami play?
See, the problem is you're not a real South Floridian yet. South Floridians drive, bro.
I'm not driving.
Remember, Marcel, we
Drive
grew
Pink
up.
is past downtown Fort Lauderdale, bro.
In South Florida, you grow up without public transportation. We don't have subways and all that, and the bus stuff that we have is shit. So from when you're young, you want a car badly. And so you're used to that. If you live out west, you got to drive 45 minutes to go to the beach. And if you got to go to Fort Lauderdale or Palm Beach, that's kind of part of the game. It's the way it is. You're going to a concert, going to a restaurant, whatever, you drive. South Floridians are used to driving.
I live in South Florida. I'm not a South Floridian.
Not yet.
No, I'm Californian. I'm Californian. I've driven a lot too. But dog, that's an hour drive, no traffic. That's an hour drive with no traffic. So you tell me I got to drive that hour, then tack on 30 minutes each way and for traffic to get in and park. Nah, bro. It's a blue moon. It's a treat. It's a, hey, so-and-so is in town. Or, hey, like, looking for something to do. Haven't been in a while.
That's normal for us, bro. That's normal for us.
For me.
I've been going to that same stadium since I was a kid from Little Havana. Okay, so to me, it doesn't matter where I'm at. I've been going to Lockhart, or now it's Drive Pink or whatever, forever, dude. As a kid, as an announcer, as a spectator, whatever it is, dude. Commercial Boulevard is nothing to me. It's a joke.
But like, it's one of those things where, like, just because you've done it forever doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. Like, doesn't mean that's the right thing. It's just like how things, like, that's all. That's how we've always done it. That's like, I mean, we can. That's this country in a microcosm right there. Like that, we refuse to move on from things because I'd rather take.
If you want to go enjoy a good soccer match, you got to go. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, you want to stay home and watch it on television, I get it. All right, that's fine. But you know what I'm saying? But that's normal in South Florida. We drive, dude. That's what we do.
I'm the perfect long distance boyfriend because I go to work and then I park my ass at home, and that's it. My Google Map thing where it tracks where you've been, it's one fucking blue line up and down 95, bro. Like, I'm not going this way, that way, here, there. I don't even remember what floor my car is parked in. I don't remember where I parked the car because I'll Uber if I want to slide to Brickell, I'll Uber if I want to go to Wynwood, or I'll walk. Like, but I don't drive. Like, driving here sucks, man. I sat in LA traffic for a week. I'll take LA traffic over Miami traffic because at least LA, there's some order to it. People use their blinkers. People go one lane at a time. There's just a lot of people out there. Miami, hell nah, bro. That little Civic in lane 6 is going to come all the way over and cut in front of you with not an ounce of a blinker, not a flash, not an indication, just saying that, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, but in Southern California, you might get hit by, a car chase, bro. What are you talking about? There's like a car chase every other day in LA.
Here, bro. There's been like 3 shootings on the damn Palmetto since I've been here. Are you?
Yeah, but shootings is not traffic and not the car chases. You know what I mean?
Not a car chase. This is worse. This is the worst traffic I've ever been in, bro. I haven't lived in a bunch of like major cities. I've lived in Phoenix. I lived in Sacramento. I lived in LA as a kid. But, that doesn't count because I didn't drive. I lived in Charlotte. Charlotte traffic gets rough. This is the work. I looked up. I did the numbers. Like, per capita, Miami has more people than Los Angeles, and it has fewer roadways. If you want to get somewhere, you take the pop.
I'll give Los Angeles. They got a shit ton of highways there.
Yeah,
they have highways there.
They're all full. They're all full because there's a lot of people there. But they move.
All run down. They're all run down. All the highways are run down. The roads are worn out. Unless you go through Beverly Hills, then everything is fine and nice there in those roads. But everywhere else, the roads are all beaten up, dude, to hell in Los Angeles. Because I go there almost every year.
Like, this. If you want to get anywhere here, you're either taking the Palmetto or you take 95. Like, that's right. That's all you got. With, like, what is this, 836?
Turnpike. I'm out west. I use the Turnpike a lot. So yeah. It's
an issue. Like, I see why Brightline is trying to do. Brightline in theory seems like it'd be a good idea, right? If I want to get to Fort Lauderdale, I don't know.
When we built the Metrorail, which is what the Metro Rail, but I call it the Metrorail. When we built it, Reagan, okay, was a president a long time ago. Anyway, he said they should have given everybody in Miami a Cadillac. It would have been a lot cheaper. But see, the problem was back in those days, what we had to do was build it out like a real subway and build it everywhere. And it would have been monstrous by now because you would have built it a lot cheaper back in the 80s. And then now it would have been used everywhere and we would have become a mass transit area. So people like you could just get into, which pretty soon, by the way, they're going to make one that goes all the way to the beach. So you're going to be able to go right to the beach right from where you're at.
Actually. The beach is not a problem. I mean, bro, I live right next to 395. Like, I can get to MacArthur and South Beach like that. I can get to, I don't like going to South Beach. I prefer Crandon Park. But I can get to Crandon in 15 minutes or so, depending on how bad traffic is. Like the beach is not that big of a problem. What I'm curious about, what's the difference in demographic between South Miami, so we're talking Coral Gables and Coconut Grove and those that are all along the tram,
right,
versus North Miami? I have a feeling I know, but who lives in South Miami and why? Because it seems so much easier if you want to live, say, in downtown, live in Brickell and work in South Miami. You can easily take that little metro line way down to Kendall, man.
Right.
Down
Yeah,
to Kendall.
It made it so limited to certain areas, and it was just so ridiculous. Yeah, and it caters to only a certain group of people. Yes, you are correct, sir.
It's very, you can't get further north than where I'm at, bro. And like I live over near the art center, the art center, whatever is. Yeah, I can't.
It took us forever to build out to the airport and all that. It was like, bro, we should have done that from the get-go and everything. It's ridiculous. It's just, we do everything ass backwards, bro. Welcome to South Florida, but make sure you get used to driving. That's all. Cause that's South Florida.
I drive to Miami. I drive to Miami Gardens. I drive to work, man. And then I'm usually tired of it.
That's it. He's had enough.
Yeah. My mom, bless her heart, man. A couple of weeks ago, my mom had a nail appointment or something like that, a hair appointment in Hollywood, and she was like, "Yeah, you wouldn't mind driving me to Hollywood, would you?" I was like, "Okay, fine." It took me 2 hours round trip to get to her nail appointment back. When we got there, I was like, "You need a new hair appointment. You need a new salon." This crazy, bro.
South Floridians will have no sympathy for you, right? Because it's like, come on, dude, we do this every day. Get the hell out of here with this.
You shouldn't have to, bro. I want a better life for y'all, man. I want a better life for us.
Well, then you come on. You have the big money. Let's go build out a whole subway for all the Tri-County area.
I just saw what the plans are for $395 though. Like it's gonna be this big arches everywhere thing. They're about halfway done with one of them. Yeah. I thought there's only gonna be 2. There's gonna be like 6, and then they're gonna build that whole area into some sort of park, some sort of like
I saw it. It's really cool. It's really cool what they're doing. It's really cool. They're doing.
It's gonna have It's a cool idea.
Something from Brickell all the way up to Midtown. It's grown so much. It's become a really cool area to live and interact, and because they're making it like a New York City where everything is going to be in walking distance, and you'll have things to take you from Brickell all the way up to Midtown and back and everywhere. So I think it's a really cool thing. Now the only problem is you need to expand it where mass transit becomes a lot easier for everybody else. Yeah. And that would be a real positive. But we've been so behind that for so many decades, Marcel, and that's why we're stuck in our cars, bro. We're stuck in our tin coffins with 4 wheels driving around until we get
the city. The leadership. It's a whole nother conversation, man.
Oh my God.
Conversation. I will say they've been putting in work on 395 since I've been here. I gotta give them credit for that. It's hella built up. And the last traffic thing I'll say before we get off of here, it cracked me up when I first moved out here. I don't know who in the chat has to take 395. It's a very specific stretch, so I don't know how many people have to use that. But that's how I get to 95, and it was always the right lane was the exit lane, which made more sense, but it was the exit lane to get to 95. So one of my first days, I'm going to COVID test last season, 2021 season. With no damn warning, the exit was closed. It just didn't exist. Concrete barrier between it. So I'm in the car. I had just gotten used to, my commute without a GPS. I'm calling Ann Nolan with the Dolphins, like, Ann, I need you to push my test back. Like, I need you to tell them I'm gonna be late. I don't know where the hell I'm at. I'm over near some hospitals right now. Like, I got to find a way there. Like, it is. So they made progress. They made progress on it. I think it was originally supposed to be done by end of this year. We'll see.
Yeah, 5, 10, 20 years. Yeah. We were working the Palmetto for like 25.
Yeah, like I said, I might not be here by the time it opens. So just because it might be 10 years from now.
Yeah,
But
I may not even be on this earth by that time. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ and catch his work here twice a week, giving you the edge. Marcel, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you immensely.
yes, sir.
Thank you. And don't forget, Edge Energy Drink, delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. Only 78 calories. That's a joke. It's an amazing elixir. Go to myedgedrink.com. Order it. Use our code Big O. Get 10% off. myedgedrink.com for the finest energy drink on the planet.
You now have the edge on the Miami Dolphins with the Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Report featuring ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques. Get the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste. You can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com.
All right. Like it. Billy Idol, by the way, is coming to town. He'll be at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, April 18th on a Tuesday. April 18th, Tuesday. Not bad. Ice Cube will be at the Delray Tennis Center, April 29th at 6 p.m. Ice Cube. I might go to that. Go see Ice Cube. So do I go to Billy Idol here or do I go to the one in Orlando? I might travel up to the one in Orlando. Do you know why? Because it'll probably be about a third of the price of the one here. By the way, prayers to the victims at Monterey Park and the shooting this weekend in Los Angeles, California. Stuff that just continues to happen that you just wonder, like, what the hell, dude? You know? Crazy stuff. And feel terrible. 10 dead, well over 10 injured, I think. Just unfortunate, man. Really unfortunate. What else do we have going on? Panthers back in action tonight, taking on the Rangers at 7:30. The Miami Heat will be in action against Boston tomorrow at 7:30. And by the way, April 22nd is the Billy Idol performance in Orlando at the House of Blues. I think I might go to that one. I think it might be cheaper at the House of Blues than it will be at the Hard Rock in Hollywood. Rebel yells like 40 years, Big O. Old. It's insane. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's still a great song. But as long as he does Blue Highway, I'm good because that's my favorite song of his. Frankie Fresco says, Big O, chances that the U.S. team hires Joe Marino as their new coach. I think USA will win with him as coach. I have no idea, my brother. You know, $4 a gallon for gas. I'm streaming Billy Idol. Yes. What else do we have? Come on, Big O. We get it. Traffic sucks. Let's talk about that. We just talked about the Dolphins, bro. Why don't you rewind and listen? Okay? We've talked about the Dolphins. I've mentioned the Dolphins throughout. I've been on for over 3 hours. You can rewind and listen for yourself, my man. That's all you got to do. Just rewind. Jamie Lobo, Big O, I'm concerned about this decision to move on from Boyer. Unless they have some established, outstanding defensive coordinator lined up, this just feels wrong. The guy had very little to work with. Okay. By the way, Bitcoin over 23,000. Let me tell you what I think is going on. Okay, overall with this deal. I think at first I thought, okay, they released Boyer because they already have a plan in place. Remember I told you that? And no, I think they released Boyer to do the decent thing, to give him an opportunity to, get his situation straightened out and go find a job. So he has plenty of time. And now they're going to go through the process of, can they get Vic Fangio or somebody else if Fangio doesn't want to go to Denver with Sean Payton? which I still don't think Sean Payton will go to Denver. I think he's going to go to either Carolina or Houston. I would go to Houston with all the money and the picks and everything that they have and the high pick. I think they have the number 2 pick in the draft, so he can get his young quarterback right away. Carolina's also good. They've got some defensive players. So those are the 2 best spots. I think he's only using the other ones as pure leverage. That's all, especially with Denver, because the Walmart family, the Waltons, I think is the guy's name, they own Walmart, and they're filthy rich. And so you want to keep that guy in play because you want to use their offer against Houston and against Carolina. And David Tepper's not going to have a problem anyway. He'll pay Sean what he wants. So I think Fangio goes with Sean to one of those places in Miami. We'll get some of the young guys that might be available, or maybe even a Lovie Smith. I don't know. I don't know which direction they're going to go in. But I think they did the decent thing for Boyer to give him an opportunity to catch on somewhere else. Whereas with the special teams coach, which I think they're also going to change, but they've hung on to him because they don't know where they're going, and they don't care about giving him his opportunity to get out as soon as possible and go get a job. So I almost think that it's more of a cold and callous way of doing it for the special teams coach, and it was the decent thing to do for Josh Boyer because they felt like, okay, let's be fair to him. We're not going to sign him anyways. You're going to go after somebody. And who knows, Boyer may have also said, hey, listen, guys, if we're not going to, I'd like the opportunity to get out on the open market as soon as possible. I probably will see Boyer next week at the Senior Bowl looking for a job, because I'll see a lot of coaches that are out of work in that case, So I think it's more about that. I don't think you should be concerned that this is a real problem. Okay? Look, man, new coaches get whoever they want. I don't think Boyer did a bad job, actually. I thought he did a pretty solid job considering what he had left on that defense, and he gave his team a chance every single week to win. At no point was that defense the reason why you ended up losing a game. It was always giving the offense the opportunity to win the game and carry them, which is what they should do because they are the best side of that team. Ho Yoon, remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. And Ho Yoon, thank you, sir, for your donation, as always, on Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. All right? Love it, bro. Bitcoin over 23,000 now. Ethereum over 1,600. Man, life is good. By the way, Polkadot's up 6%, up to almost $7, $6.77 right now. That guy, maybe he's got his wife or girlfriend off his ass now. That Polkadot's turned it around. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's see. What else do we have here? Beck and Phoenix Summer Odyssey Tour. Special guest, Japanese Breakfast, Jenny Lewis and Weyes Blood. And where are they coming here? And just sent me this. My buddy just sent me this. And no, not coming here. I would have to travel to go see. I might want to see this. I'd like to go see Beck and Phoenix. Big Phoenix fan. Okay. Damn. That's amazing stuff. All right, what else do we have here? Barkley turned down an extension during the season of $12 million a year, and he turned it down. They are saying he wants McCaffrey's money, which is $16 million a season. Oh, well, Barkley's very injury prone, like McCaffrey, both exceptional players. Stephen Harris says, I disagree, Big O. Defensive stats rank below average throughout the season. I don't care about stats, bro. Stats don't mean shit to me, dude. That's the problem with a lot of you out there. Some guy tweeted back to me over the weekend because we were talking about, because I put out that comment about, the Dolphins when they made it to the Super Bowl with Marino. And I said the silliest thing that we ever did at that time was saying, oh, they'll be back. And we were really stupid at that time because if they had no defense and no running game, why would they be back? And then some guy goes, well, that year they ran for 1,900 yards. And he's right. He's right. 600 that guy, 600 this guy, 500 that guy. But you go look at their running backs, and none of them were special. And none of them scared anybody. But if you look at the stats, you would say, oh, but they had 1,900 yards rushing. That's pretty damn good. They averaged 4 yards a carry. That's pretty damn good. Did you watch the games? And that's the problem with some of you out there. You lean too much on stats. And stats don't tell you the whole story. So that's why don't give me this shit about stats. You could give up a whole bunch of yards, but if you didn't give up the points, you're there. If you can give up points and yards, but if you kept your team in the game the entire time and said, here, offense, you can win it, and you don't win it, well, then what are you going to do? Because that's the side that was healthier. That's the side that had the most talent, the offense. For 25 years, we'd blame the defense that they didn't carry the offense. Well, I'm blaming the offense this year. They're the ones that are supposed to carry it. And you guys, some of you out there, you got to stop with this PFF bullshit. You got to stop living off of stats. You need to actually watch the games. Because if you watch the games, they tell you a completely different story than what the stats say. Jimmy Johnson, I don't necessarily agree a lot with him, but one line he always had, stats are for losers. And he is right, because the stats do not tell you the whole story. And if you watch the Dolphin defense this year, the stats don't tell you the story. Just like if you watch that 84 Dolphins team against San Francisco, the stats don't tell you the story. They did not have an impactful running game that could scare people. They just had a head coach that was dedicated to the running game no matter what, and he got something out of it. But nobody feared Woody Bennett and Tony Nathan and that group of running backs that was there with Dan Marino. They weren't good enough. They were serviceable, but they weren't studs. Studs is watching John Riggins run your ass over. Studs is watching Roger Craig either run or catch the ball and kill you. The guys that the Dolphins had weren't there, but the stats were. And that's what I told that guy. And then he came back, oh, well, yeah, you're right. I don't even know if that guy was around for that. You know what I mean? But don't play the stats game. Stats rarely tell you the entire story. If you lean on that, King Shore says, we were young and dumb, Big O. Hell yeah, we were dumb. Because you know why? We were so wowed by Marino. And by the way, that shows you how great Marino was to get there with that bunch. That's the other thing that shows you about Marino, how good he was. God, look, man, John Elway went a couple times, and he got his ass kicked every single time until he got Terrell Davis, and he got like a real defense, and then everything turned around. He was headed for the same thing as Marino. A bunch of stats and no championships, Andy Reid told reporters QB Pat Mahomes worked hard on the treatment and is doing okay. Asked about his status, Reid said he's going to play, and that isn't as serious as the one Mahomes suffered in 2019. All right, we'll see. All right, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? I think we're officially done for the show. Let's see what else. Do I have any questions to attack here? Anything decent? Beck is a musical genius. Beck is good. Beck Odelay album was my favorite of his. Yes, that's one of his. What is that like his first or second album? Odelay, right? It's early in his career. New Pollution, right? Let's see. Dolphins defense were bottom of the NFL in points allowed. That's what matters. And it depends on the situation. That's not true. Because you might allow a lot of points in just a few games and then you allowed less in some others. Like, put it this way, like the Ravens game and the Detroit game skews it because you got roasted in the first half, but then they shut them down in the second half. But they still put up a lot of points. But they shut them down the second half and what did they allow? The offense to get back in it. Stats are for losers. Watch the games and you actually will know what happened in the game, and the stat doesn't necessarily support it. So you get terrible stats in that Ravens and that Detroit Lions game defensively. Didn't you win? Oh yeah, that's right, you won. Why? Because you had terrible first halves and you had like 60 points in two halves. And then you shut them down in the second half. But statistically, it's not going to look good because your defense allowed 30 points a game. You see what I'm saying? Stats are for losers. If that's what you use to determine your opinion on something, then you're not really looking at everything going on. Sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes it's so obvious. But in this kind of a case, I just gave you an example, 2 examples, where it skews the stats, but it really didn't. The results were there. So your defense was shit in the first half. But in the second half, they shut them down and allowed the offense to get back in and win the game. They did their job. Oh, but not on the stats side. Oh, who cares? Oh, man. What's the take on the O-line, bringing in new guys, still working with the current players? A mix of both. I think you got to bring in somebody and then mix in everything else. I don't think you're going to bring in a bunch of guys. I think you might bring in one guy, either a tackle or a guard, and that's about it. I don't think you're really making a ton of changes. It's more about getting guys healthy and then getting back on track. You were much better this year than you have been in the past. Big O, I've been watching the old Dolphin games from 84 and through 95, and Marino puts fear into defenses, creating opportunities to run. Yeah, no, Marino is just amazing, man. Just an absolute monster, you know? That's one thing you can't deny. All right, we're out of here. We will see you tomorrow. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank Andy Behrens. We thank Marcel Louis Jacques. Of course, Sean Stanley, who masters his entire platform. We will see you tomorrow. Bitcoin over 23K. Same time, same place, same bat channel.